Nepal's president adjourns federal parliament session on cabinet's recommendation. Government reverses police academy relocation. Constitution Amendment Task Force holds a second meeting. Discussions focus on key reform issues and future work plan. Heat wave grips Nepal's Tarai districts. Meteorologists urge caution as extreme heat persists for next 3 days. U.S. forces board Iranian oil tanker in Indian Ocean. Tehran claims first revenue received from Strait of Hormuz shipping tolls. India holds state elections in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. Polls seen as test of PM Modi-led alliance's popularity. And Manchester City clinches Premier League lead from table toppers Arsenal as title race tightens. Good evening, I'm Shmituki Singh Tamang and this is NTV World Primetime News. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere, it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo, and just after midnight in Sydney. The details now. Nepal's President Ramchandra Paudel has adjourned the federal parliament session scheduled for coming April 30 on the recommendation of the Council of Ministers, citing special regions. According to the President's office, the session was set to be convened under Article 93(1) of the Constitution of Nepal on April 30 at 2 p.m. at the Federal Parliament building in Singhadarbar. As per another cabinet decision, the government has reversed its earlier plan to relocate the Maharajganj-based National Police Academy, allowing it to continue using its existing land. Government spokesperson and Minister for Education, Science and Technology, Sushmit Pokhrel, said a cabinet meeting held today decided to retain the academy's land use as before.
Integrated water supply and sewerage management sector project का लागि एसियाली विकास बैंकबाट प्राप्त हुने अमेरिकी डलर 115 मिलियन सहुलियतपूर्ण ऋण सहायता सम्बन्धी वित्तीय सम्झौता तथा अन्य सम्बन्धित दस्तावेजलाई अन्तिम रूप दिने विषयमा वार्ता गर्न अर्थ मन्त्रालयको सहसचिवको नेतृत्वमा एउटा वार्ता टोली गठन गर्ने। अर्को नेपाल सरकार मन्त्री परिषदको 2075 भदौ 1 को निर्णय बमोजिम महाराजगञ्ज स्थित राष्ट्रिय प्रहरी प्रशिक्षण प्रतिष्ठानको पुरै जग्गा 114 रोपनी 3 आना राष्ट्रपतिको कार्यालयको नाममा हस्तान्तरण गर्ने गरी भएको निर्णयको सट्टामा सो जग्गा पूर्ववत रूपमा राष्ट्रिय प्रहरी प्रशिक्षण प्रतिष्ठानले नै प्रयोग गर्ने।
The second meeting of the task force for preparing a constitutional amendment discussion paper 2082 has been held. The meeting, chaired by Prime Minister Balendra Shah's political advisor Asim Shah, has been held at the office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers in Singhadarbar. The task force is discussing identified constitutional amendment issues based on written submissions from political parties, along with proposed plans for its future work and procedures. Extreme heat and scorching winds have pushed temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius across Nepal's central and western Tarai, disrupting daily life as severe heat wave continues. Met Agency says Bhairawa, Nepalganj and Simara are among the worst affected by the heat wave, while Lumbini and Sudar Paschim provinces remain under extreme heat stress. Sabika Shrestha digs deeper.
गर्मी त एकदमै बढिरहेछ, धेरै नै गर्मी छ।
Extreme heat and scorching winds have largely affected daily life across Nepal. The rising mercury level is being driven by westerly winds combined with a lack of pre-monsoon rainfall, leaving much of the region under sustained heat stress. Especially the central and western Tarai are bearing the brunt of the heat as temperatures consistently cross 40 degrees Celsius. In a bulletin issued on Thursday, the Meteorological Forecasting Division of the Department of Hydrology warned that these hot and dry conditions are likely to continue for at least the next 3 days. According to the cities like Bhairawa, Nepalganj and Simara are among the hardest hit by a severe heat wave condition commonly known as Lu, which is a dry and intense hot wind sweeping through the region. Lumbini and Sudar Paschim provinces have been identified as the most vulnerable, with temperatures expected to remain dangerously high. Meteorologists add that the absence of any active weather systems bringing rainfall has allowed hot air to stagnate over the plains, creating oppressive conditions with little immediate relief in sight. Division's senior meteorologist Min Kumar Aryal said the department has a 3-tower warning system on its official platform to alert the public. Green signals normal conditions, yellow indicates caution, and brown representing high-risk situations.
खास गरिकन अहिले अब पानी पर्ने सम्भावना त खासै त्यस्तो देखिदैन। कोशी प्रदेशको पहाडी भूभागतिर फाटफुट वर्षा मात्रै हो। त्यो भन्दा पनि अहिले विशेष गरिकन तराईकोमा पनि लुम्बिनी प्रदेश र सुदूरपश्चिम प्रदेश भूभागमा चाहिँ अहिले तातो हावाको लहर भनेर हामीले दिइरहेका छौँ। बाँकी जस्तै अब बाँकी प्रदेशका तराईका भूभागहरूमा पनि तातो दिन भनेर पनि दिइरहेका छौँ। त्यति मात्र होइन, उपत्यका लगायत अब नदीले कटान गरेका खोजहरू गहिरो स्थानहरूमा पनि तातो दिन हुने भनेर हामीले भनिरहेका छौँ।
As temperatures continue to rise, health officials and weather experts are urging people to take extra precautions to stay safe. They warn that extreme heat can quickly lead to dehydration and heat stroke if proper care isn't taken. Authorities are advising residents to avoid going outside during the hottest part of the day, usually between 11 a.m. in the morning and 4 p.m. in the afternoon, unless absolutely necessary. Local administrations in the affected areas are also on alert, working to ensure steady water supply and that hospital and emergency services are prepared as Nepal's Tarai Plains deals with this intense heat wave. Meanwhile, air quality in Kathmandu has taken a sharp turn for the worse, with the air quality index rising to a very unhealthy, that is, level of 216.
प्रदूषण त स्वाभाविक रूपमा हुने नै भयो, किनभने पानी नपरिसकेपछि अब भेहिकल्सहरूको प्रदूषण त्यस्तै छ। अब नि अप्पर एयर भने मतलब वायुमण्डलको उपल्लो भूभागबाट पनि पश्चिमबाट नआए पनि त्यहाँ पनि त्यसको खालको पनि मुभमेन्ट हुन्छ हैन। अरु विभिन्न कारणहरू, एक्सटर्नल कारणहरू पनि छ। मेन त इन्टरनल कारण भनेको पानी नपर्नाले यही वायुमण्डलभित्र रुमलिनी हो, यहीँको धुवा धुलो रुमलिनी हो। त्यो हिसाबले उपत्यकामा यदि सिस्टमहरू प्रणालीहरू चाहिँ स्थिर रह्यो भने त्यो कहीँ जान पाउँदैन। हावाको गति कम भयो हुने बित्तिकै त्यो स्थिर भएर रहन्छ। त्यही कुरा राति केही माथि जान्छ, फेरि दिउँसो भएपछि बिस्तारै कुलिङ भएर चिसो भएर तलतल आउँछ र पुरै हेजी बन्छ। त्यो चाहिँ पानी नपर्नको कारण, अर्को हावा राम्रोसित नलागिदिनको कारण मात्रै हो।
The capital has now been ranked the second most polluted city in the world, adding to growing public health concerns. Residents already facing intense heat, the combination of extreme temperatures and hazardous air is creating a double burden on daily life and health. Sabika Shrestha with camera person Samir Thapa reporting for NTV World.
We're going for a short break here. More news coming up. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Now the remaining updates. Inspector General of Nepal Police Dan Bahadur Karki has said the absence of registered liaison officers of social media platforms in Nepal has made it difficult to resolve cybercrime cases. Briefing a meeting of the Federalism Strengthening and National Concerns Committee under the National Assembly of Nepal, Karki said social media platforms are increasingly being used to create fake accounts, spread abusive content, disseminate misinformation and carry out digital banking related crimes.
दर्ता नभएका प्लेटफर्महरू हेर्यो भने फेसबुक, इन्स्टाग्राम, व्हाट्सएप यसको मातृ कम्पनीलाई हामी मेटा भन्छौँ। मेटा प्लेटफर्म चाहिँ नेपालमा दर्ता छैन। डिस्कर्ड भयो, एक्स भयो, स्न्यापच्याट भयो, इमो, विच्याट Reddit, YouTube, Gmail लगायतका प्लेटफर्मबाट युजर डिटेल र टेक डाउन सम्बन्धमा कुनै पनि रेस्पोन्स आउँदैन किनभने हामी कहाँ दर्ता छैन वहाँ लिगल्ली दे आर नट बाइन्डेड टु आवर लिगल सिस्टम त्यसकारणले हामीलाई त्यहाँ समस्या छ
Airport parking management across Nepal's airports is facing mounting scrutiny as concession and operational inefficiencies continue to disrupt services. Parking facilities at the major airports like Tribhuvan International Airport in Kathmandu and Pokhara International Regional Airport in Pokhara are struggling to keep pace with rising passenger traffic, resulting in space shortages, traffic bottlenecks and growing complaints over weak regulation. Travelers report delays in securing parking slots, while peak hour pressure has intensified disorder in designated areas. Despite continued revenue collection from parking services, concerns remain over inadequate enforcement, poor infrastructure planning, and limited coordination between operators and relevant authorities. For the first time in Nepal's history, the results of the Secondary Education Examination SEE are being published within a month of the exams. The National Examination Board NEB says it is working on a war footing to release results of nearly 500,000 students by mid-May, a sharp departure from the usual 3-month waiting period. The SEE exams, which was held last month, have already concluded with evaluation work underway across all 77 districts. Officials say answer sheets are being checked locally and marks are entered directly into a digital system to speed up processing and reduce errors. Controller of Examinations Tukuraj Adhikari said additional teachers and technical staff have been deployed along with a double verification system to ensure accuracy and prevent discrepancies. Officials say the move marks a major shift in exam management aimed at improving efficiency and restoring public confidence in result publication timelines. We have international updates coming up next, but before that, time to go for a short break. U.S. forces have boarded a ship carrying Iranian oil in the Indian Ocean, the U.S. military says. It comes as the Deputy Speaker of the Iranian Parliament says Iran has received the first tolls from shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. He, however, did not say who paid the tolls or how much they were. U.S. President Donald Trump has said the U.S. would target ships if they pay Iran to use the strait. Earlier, Trump said there was no time pressure on ending the war with Iran. On Wednesday, Iran attacked 3 cargo ships as they tried to pass through the Strait of Hormuz and claimed it seized 2 of them. Meanwhile, Pakistan's Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi has held talks with U.S. Charge d'Affaires to Pakistan Natalie Baker in Islamabad, focusing on diplomatic efforts to advance a second round of U.S.-Iran peace negotiations. According to a statement from the Interior Ministry, the 2 sides discussed the evolving regional situation and reviewed ongoing diplomatic initiatives aimed at bringing Washington and Tehran back to the negotiating table. The meeting comes as the United States and Iran remain at odds over conditions for renewed talks despite continued mediation efforts involving regional stakeholders. Naqvi reiterated Pakistan's support for dialogue as the only viable path to de-escalation. In the meantime, U.S. President Donald Trump has not set a deadline for Iran to submit a peace proposal, the White House said, pushing back against a report suggesting a fixed time frame. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters that no firm deadline has been imposed and that the timeline for any response from Tehran would ultimately be determined by the president.
We are completely strangling their economy through this blockade. They're losing $500 million a day. The Karg Island is completely full. They can't move oil in and out. They can't even pay their own people as a result of this economic leverage that President Trump has inflicted over them. So he's satisfied with that as we await their response. And we will see. The president has not set a firm deadline to receive an Iranian proposal, unlike some of the reporting I've seen today. Ultimately, the timeline will be dictated by the commander-in-chief and the president of the United States.
At least 9 people were killed after gunmen attacked National Resources Limited's copper and gold project in Pakistan's southwestern Balochistan province on Wednesday. The attack targeted the Darigwan site operated by National Resources Limited (NRL), which said the incident occurred in the evening and that security forces later secured the area. A local official speaking on condition of anonymity confirmed that at least 9 employees, including 2 security guards, were killed in the assault. NRL, a joint venture between Lucky Cement, Fatima Fertilizer and Liberty Mills, explores copper, gold and lead zinc deposits in the mineral-rich but restive region bordering Afghanistan and Iran. The incident comes amid growing security concerns in Balochistan, where mining operations have increasingly faced threats. Elections have been held in India's Tamil Nadu and West Bengal today in staggered regional elections that could test Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ruling alliance as well as a resurgent opposition. Polling has already been completed in Assam and Kerala, as well as the federally administered territory of Puducherry earlier this month. Results from all the elections are due on May 4. The contests are widely seen as a key barometer of national momentum and the first major electoral test for both the federal government and the opposition amid economic uncertainty linked to the Middle East conflict. For the ruling National Democratic Alliance (NDA), the stakes are significant. The coalition led by Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) currently controls only one of the 4 major states voting, Assam, and is looking to expand its footprint and reinforce its claim as a truly pan-India political force. With more international updates lined up next, but before that, let's take a short break. You're with Primetime News, more from International. Thousands of workers have rallied outside Samsung Electronics' major semiconductor facility in Pyeongtaek, escalating labor tensions ahead of a potential strike next month that could disrupt global chip supplies. The protest highlights growing disputes over wages and working conditions, with unions warning of industrial action if negotiations fail. Any disruption of the Pyeongtaek complex, one of the world's largest chip production hubs, could have ripple effects across global technology supply chains. It is said the situation is being closely watched, as even short-term production halts at Samsung's facilities could impact semiconductor availability worldwide. Today marks 40 years since the Chernobyl nuclear disaster in Ukraine, the worst accident in the history of nuclear power. The explosion occurred on the night of April 26, 1986 at Reactor 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near Pripyat, releasing large amounts of radioactive material across Ukraine, Belarus, Russia and parts of Europe. A 30-kilometer exclusion zone was later established and the nearby population was evacuated. 2 workers died immediately in the blast, while 30 more died in the following months from acute radiation exposure. In the aftermath, Units 1, 2 and 3 were temporarily restarted after decontamination, but the plant was gradually shut down over the following years, with the final reactor closed in 2000 under an agreement between Ukraine and the G7. Saffron-robed Buddhist monks have begun a week-long peace walk across Sri Lanka, accompanied by a rescued stray dog, Aloka, that has become a celebrity in its own right. Led by Vietnamese monk Panakara, the group of 13 launched their march at dawn from a historic Buddhist temple in Dambulla, about 160 kilometers north of the capital, Colombo. The work is intended to promote harmony, compassion and non-violence, drawing attention to the enduring teachings of the Buddha in a time of global uncertainty. Villagers and devotees gathered along the route to offer alms and blessings, while many paused to take photos of the gentle dog trotting faithfully beside the monks. The presence of the rescue dog has added a touching dimension to the march, symbolizing kindness towards all living beings and highlighting the importance of caring for animals. Chinese scientists have discovered and identified the 11th new lunar mineral named cerium magnesium change-site, according to the China Geological Survey. The newly discovered cerium magnesium change-site is colorless, transparent and brittle, exhibits a glassy luster and shows a distinct fluorescence effect. The grain size ranges from approximately 3 to 25 micrometers, typically less than 10 micrometers, which is roughly 1/25th of the diameter of a human hair. The cerium magnesium change site was found in the first lunar meteorite falling in China. It is a single spherical meteorite with a weight of 44 grams and a dark molten shell on its surface. An expert said that the discovery of new minerals from lunar meteorites can not only broaden people's understanding of the universe, but also provide new formulas for the field of synthetic materials. Now the sports update. After 200 days at the top, Arsenal has lost the Premier League lead to Manchester City on goal difference following City's 1-0 win over Burnley. This victory puts the reigning champions back on top, with Manchester City and Arsenal now separated by the slimmest of margins. Manchester City under Pep Guardiola has now moved into first place, tied with Arsenal on 70 points. Meanwhile, Arsenal walks into Saturday's Premier League clash with Newcastle United with its margin for error gone, knowing that any stumble at the Emirates could prove fatal to its title hopes. FIFA has no plans to replace Iran with Italy at this summer's World Cup, according to sources, after the switch was proposed by US President Donald Trump's special envoy, Paolo Zampoli. There has been ongoing uncertainty over Iran's participation in the tournament because of the war with US and Israel. FIFA did not comment officially on Zampoli's secession. Four-time champions Italy have failed to qualify for their third successive World Cup following a qualification playoff defeat by Bosnia and Herzegovina last month. Iran are due to face New Zealand and Belgium in Los Angeles on 15 and 21 June respectively, and Egypt in Seattle on 26 June. The tournament, which begins on 11 June, is being hosted by the US, Canada and Mexico. And before we wrap up, here's the reminder of our top stories. Nepal's president adjourns federal parliament session on cabinet's recommendation. Government reverses police academy relocation. Constitution Amendment Task Force holds its second meeting. Discussions focus on key reform issues and future work plan. Heat wave grips Nepal's Tarai districts. Meteorologists urge caution as extreme heat persists for next 3 days. US forces board Iranian oil tanker in Indian Ocean. Tehran claims first revenue from Strait of Hormuz shipping tolls. India holds state elections in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. Polls seen as test of PM Modi-led alliance's popularity. And reigning champions Manchester City clinches Premier League lead from table toppers Arsenal as title race tightens. And that's it for this edition of Primetime News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us to our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
After around 7 hours drive from federal capital Kathmandu comes Dhunche Bazar, the district headquarters of Rashwa. Further ahead from Dhunche, demographically and ethnic mix, we reach Kerung custom point along Nepal-China border. However, we are headed to another destination. We are going to Gosai Kunda, a beautiful pilgrimage situated 4,380 meters above the sea level, and a perfect mix of adventure and spiritualism. Our trek begins from this very place. With excitement and energy alike, our journey to Gosai Kunda starts from Dhunche Bazar. This is a famous religious tourism site, especially twice a year on Janai Purnima and Ganga Dasara fair in Jesta. Thousands of devotees throng this holy place. The first 1 hour of the trek up to Ghatte Khola is largely straight. This is where pilgrims take a tea break and some rest to prepare themselves for the uphill walk. There's a mini Gosai Kunda here as well. Uphill walk through the pine forest and natural diversity continues as we approach few lodges on the way. After nearly about 2 hours of trek, we reach Deurali. Another resting place for pilgrims and trekkers. Sip of tea in this freezing weather is a luxury these small hotels offer. This is also a well-known viewpoint to see the southern districts. The tharpus or shelters built and preserved by the Gosai Kunda Area Development Committee are found almost everywhere on the way. With more excitement than fatigue, the journey continues from Deurali. It's still a long way and it's difficult to reach our destination today itself. Fatigue is visible on the faces of these travelers. In an hour or so, we reach Dingsa. This is a junction of Gosaikunda with another route mixing here. Tharpus and light snacks are available here as well. The trail, though uphill, is not very difficult. The natural beauty of the area, mild weather, and many travelers make the arduous journey much easier. Chandanbari is the next place after about an hour's walk. This is a small but beautiful hamlet for tourists. Cozy but clean and hygienic hotels are found here. Many tourists travel up to Chandanbari even at times other than the two famous religious fairs take place. The oldest yak cheese production factory of a Dairy Development Corporation is here. Even the trekkers take a test of the famous yak cheese produced in Chandanbari. The yak herds also make the environment exciting. Many travelers who cannot bear the fatigue anymore take overnight stop here and head to Gosaikunda the next morning. The place is also known as Singh Monastery, named after the ancient monument itself. The uphill trek continues from Chandanbari for another 2 hours up to Cholangpati. This place, renowned for yak farming and traders, is another stop on the way. Though few tourists are also seen here, yak farmers often gather in monsoon season here. The typical Himalayan lifestyle, cylindrical pine trees and the cold weather greet the travelers. Many temporary structures are set up by local administration, Nepal Army, police among others, along the way during the annual Gosai Kunda Fair to provide free health care and first aid services to travelers. After another 2 hours walk, we reach the Lowri Bina area. Those who can walk faster take overnight stop at this place that has plenty of hotels. This is the perfect place to enjoy nature and its beauty. The view of mountain peaks including Ganesh, Manasalu, Langtang and some across the border in China and Dhunche Bazaar is a treat to the eyes. The idol of Lord Buddha greets trekkers at this place. The trail also gets a bit less difficult with almost no more uphill walk. Legend has it that the place got its name Lowri Bina, meaning free of walking sticks, as travelers discard their walking stick at the end of the uphill climb here. The same walking stick is again brought back while returning from the pilgrimage. Another 2 hours style walk takes us to Ganesh Gaura. From where the revered Vairav and Saraswati Kunda or lakes become visible. The very sight of the holy water of the ponds rejuvenates every traveler. One of the specialities of Ganesh Kunda is the idol of Lord Ganesh and the tailless mice or the moles, known as the ride of Lord Ganesh, are seen roaming freely. Gosai Kunda is just 15 minutes cultural shows during the fair. A few hotels can be found here for those who want to make an overnight stop. However, many try to avoid staying here due to fears of altitude sickness. Nevertheless, medical camps are adequately set up for emergencies during the fair. Special paid horse ride service is also available for those who can't walk. There are 3 different routes to reach Gosai Kunda. One is the Kathmandu Chisapani Ghopte Suryakunda route. Another route is via Rasua's Langtang Thulu Safru Gosai Kunda. And of course, the route via Dhunchi of Rasua, which we traveled is probably the shortest and the easiest of them all. This route is 3 to 4 days walk from Dhunche, depending on the individual's speed. Travelers can choose 2 different routes to and fro Gosai Kunda to spice up their adventure. The revered Gosai Kunda at 4,380 meters above the sea level in Gosai Kunda rural municipality of Rasua district and inside Langtang National Park is a must-go destination for any avid traveler. Ask anyone who has been there. It is indeed a lifetime experience.
For centuries, the Kumail community of Nepal has lived closely tied to the earth, shaping clay, cultivating land, and sustaining a cultural identity rooted in indigenous skill, craft, and tradition. Recognized as one of Nepal's marginalized indigenous nationalities, the Kumails traditionally settle in the hilly regions and inner Tarai plains. Cultural practices and oral histories indicate that they have been part of Nepal's civilization since ancient times. As inhabitants of Nepal's fertile river valleys and plains, the Kumails have carried forward a deep-rooted tradition of earthenware craftsmanship, agriculture, and a rich cultural heritage that reflects centuries of resilience and adaptation. Their pottery has been more than household utility. It has been a marker of identity, livelihood, and cultural continuity. Today, as modern vessels replace handmade earthen vessels, the Kumails find themselves preserving not only a profession but a heritage passed down through generations. According to an ancient belief, clay work began at the time of creation when Prajapati, the son of Brahma, molded the first earthen vessel using Sudarshan Chakra of Lord Vishnu. The Sanskrit term Kumbhakar, meaning pot maker, gradually transformed, becoming Kumhar and eventually Kumail. Even today, pottery remains spiritually and culturally significant for the community. In Kumail settlements, soil is not just the ground beneath their feet. It is raw material, cultural memory, and a symbol of survival. The Kumail population is spread mainly across central Tarai districts of Nepal, namely across Lumbini, Gandaki, and Bagmati provinces. Traditionally, they rely on two main occupations, agriculture and pottery. Farms provided daily sustenance, while pottery supported household needs and served as a source of income. Community life historically revolved around extended family systems with shared labor, collective participation in rituals, and a strong sense of belonging to ancestral land. Pottery for the Kumals is a detailed, multi-stage skill passed down through generations. The process begins with identifying the right soil. Black clay, the kalo matu, was traditionally preferred for its strength and texture. It was collected near riverbanks, ponds, and settled waterbeds. Among Tharu Kumals, this clay is also known as kamaune matu, meaning clay that earns. Clay is soaked, softened, and thoroughly kneaded. Using a tool called pasur, potters slice and cleanse the clay to remove impurities. In earlier times, bamboo tools were used instead of iron. The prepared clay is stored covered, maintaining moisture for shaping. The chakra or potter's wheel remains central to Kumal identity. Hands center the clay, fingers guide it, and experience shapes it. Tools like thap and pitani help refine form and smooth surface. Large vessels, water jars, grand pots, cooking pots, and ritual vessels were once part of every Nepali household, each bearing the touch of Kumal craftsmanship. Freshly formed pots are cut from the wheel with thread or leaf strips and set to dry, first in shade to prevent cracks, then under the sun. A reddish clay called kabish matu is applied for finish and strength. The firing structure, awa or auri, is built from wood, straw, husk, and cow dung. Pots are stacked carefully, forming a dome-like structure covered with hay and soil. The firing process takes up to 3 days. The Kumals maintain rich intangible heritage through customs, rituals, music, and dance. The Keli dance is one of the most distinctive cultural expressions of the Kumals. Traditionally performed by men dressed as women, it is associated with community celebrations and spiritual belief. The performance concludes with blessings for the household hosting the event. Marriage traditionally takes place within the community, though intercaste marriage, particularly with Magar communities, has become common.
Ada nen budi ciura. Dari pokoknya nen budi ciura. Pokoknya budi ciura.
Samdi fight is also popular in this culture, where fathers of bride and groom go through a physical battle as a part of entertainment. A child's naming ceremony called Nwaran takes place on the 9th day for daughters and 11th day for sons, where a young unmarried girl narrates the name referred by the priest. Gon Ponni, a ritual where the mother burns bedding used during childbirth, is followed by baths. The child is then named and welcomed.
बोलाउने नाम आशिष कुमाल, देवताको नाम गोविन्द कुमाल,
Grandmothers carry babies around the home, chasing the newborn with a catapult, symbolically granting strength and sealing belonging. Death rites emphasize purity, remembrance, and respect. The eldest son, or the one performing final rites, often standing inside a fishing net, performs final rites reflecting links to water-based livelihood and spiritual symbolism. Among the many Kumal rituals, ancestral worship, Kul Puja is considered the most important. It is performed in remembrance of those deceased in the family and is also known as Pitri Puja. The Kul Puja honors ancestors annually, while the worship of Singh Devta, urn-shaped forest deities, highlights ties to nature and livestock protection. The Kumal people speak their own indigenous language, Kumal, which belongs to the Tibeto-Burman family. However, due to increasing influence of Nepali language and modernization, the use of Kumal language has been declining, and community efforts continue to revive it through cultural programs and schools. Most Kumals practice Hinduism, worshipping deities such as Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and local protective gods and goddesses. Ancestral worship and belief in nature spirits hold deep cultural importance. Traditional attire for men includes white clothing and the dhaka topi, while women wear black blouses, traditional skirts, and red shawls, often adorned with local jewelry. With industrial materials such as aluminum, steel, and plastic replacing clay vessels, the demand for traditional pottery has sharply declined. Many Kumal families have moved to agriculture, labor, service work, or small businesses. Modern education and new employment opportunities are reshaping the choices of younger generations. Their hands do not merely shape clay, they sculpt culture, memory, and the foundation of Nepal's artistic soul. The Kumal community stands at a historic crossroads between tradition and modernity, memory and transition. Their identity is closely tied to clay, yet their future relies on adapting to changing socio-economic landscapes. Their story is not only about pottery, but resilience of a people who shaped Nepal's cultural foundation long before industry and technology. The preservation of Kumal heritage is not a matter of nostalgia. It is a recognition of indigenous knowledge, cultural diversity, and history shaped by hands that turn earth into life. If the story of Nepal is one of civilizations formed by soil and river, then the Kumal legacy will always remain at its foundation.
The headlines in Nepal are dominated by Balendra Shah government's decisions following the dramatic rise of a new political order in Kathmandu. But the real test of Nepal's future is being written in the fields and planning rooms of our provinces. Today we go beyond the populist rhetoric to look at facts. On today's Insight, we are joined by Dr. Sohan Prasad Shah, a scholar of science policy, architect of barefoot research, and former vice chair of the Madhesh Planning Commission. As the federal government rolls out its 100-point agenda, today we're asking, can a centralized reform movement truly fix a decentralized nation? And what happens to Madhesh in this new Nepal? Dr. Shah, welcome to NTV World Insight.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
How are you viewing the current political development in the country with the formation of a new government, old guards falling down, new forces emerging?
There is an exciting time that we are in. For a few reasons that we are in exciting time. For a long time we have been thinking that youth should come to the politics, but it has not been happening. So somehow the old guards musical chair was going on. And suddenly we have an election, and after the Gen Z movement we have an election, and then probably we have the youngest cabinet ever in Nepal. And well, in Nepal previous history we have a youngest prime minister, but in a republic, after the post-republic time, we see the youngest prime minister in Nepal. So a lot of credible hopes and a lot of excitement, and we think that we aspire for the good future. So the people is aspiring for the good future. But it's yet to see how the things will unfold. But so far, there is a lot of enthusiasm.
Balendra Shah government has laid out a 100-point agenda for reforms with a particular focus on technology and urban efficiency as well. Do you think this approach is it one-size-fits-all context when it comes to when we focus on provinces like Madhesh?
Oh yes, I did go through the 100-point agenda. Technocratically, it looks very good. But how much it is feasible on the reality, it's yet to, we have to measure. For example, there is a huge promises on the tech sector. Like most of the agendas that you will see is towards a digital new evolution of the country. And digitalization is a good thing, but how we can manage, because you know we have the 3 tiers of government. So not everything is in the federal, not everything is in the province, not everything is in local government. So these databases are structured in 3 tiers of the government. So digital evolution is a good idea, but mechanism to, we call it a social imaginaries. We have a technical imaginaries. So on a technical imaginaries, this 100-point agenda is very good, but this technical imaginaries needs to also catch up with the social imaginaries, political imaginaries, and our bureaucratic imaginaries. So these things we are yet to see that how it will unfold. But these are the good reforms, and I think if it can kick off, the country will be in a better reform process. So. Digital evolution is a very good idea, but there are some social evolution also, which I would like to point out. Like, for example, there is one agenda, particularly is a good agenda, is of apology, tendering the apology to the Dalits, and because for hundreds years the discrimination they have faced, and Parliament is saying that we will tender an apology. This is something like what in Australia Kevin Rudd has done to the Aborigines. So they have some political imaginations also. They have huge technical imagination, but this technical imagination needs to catch up with our social imaginaries, political imaginaries, and bureaucratic imaginaries. So we are yet to see that how it will take place.
While this question might sound a little heavy and it's wide for interpretation, do you think our state apparatus are ready for implementing the 100-point agendas that the government has tabled?
That's the difficult part, because there's 2 ways to look at it. One from an optimism side, one from a little bit of pessimism side. From the optimism side, if you will see the previous 10 to 20 years of our governance, we have a very good successful examples in Nepal on the digital evolution. Like for example, the budget system, we have PLMBIS, in local government we have Sutra, we have SIGA, means there are a lot of technological interventions in the governance side. And I think that in South Asia we are doing quite well by implementing those agendas. On other side also, if you will see the foreign labor employment softwares, and there are many other technical interventions has taken place in Nepal. So it's not new that that this is not been imagined before. Nepal has already implemented the technical side, digital governance side, many other things, and successful implementation. But the point is that this has taken the evolution, this has taken the time, this has taken the over 10 years to do that. I'm optimistic in that sense that the government has brought the new technological reforms, digital reforms into the system. So this will take time, but at least I would like to thank the government that at least they have imagined that this has to be done. So, and this is taking, so this enthusiasm needs to catch up with the bureaucratic eagerness and the coordination with the three tiers of the government. If that is done, probably we will see the new evolution. So we have already have the successful examples in Nepal of the technological side, digital governance side. And because this is the younger cabinet, so they have taken it 3 steps forward. So we have 2 steps forward before, now they are taking 3 steps forward. So that's a good optimism sign. Pessimism side is that does our bureaucratic abilities will be able to navigate all these technicalities, because what you see is that we need a thick descriptions of the understanding, you know. By looking at the 100% agenda, it looks like, okay, everything is good now, that, okay, if this will be implemented, things will be changed in better in a way. But then when you see deeply, we call it in proof of the food is an eating. So until and unless this is implemented, you are not sure that how it will be navigated. So I think we should wait and watch and see how it will be evolved.
During the 2025 September uprising, it was largely centered in the capital, in urban areas. How do you think the movement resonated with youths of the Tarai Madhesh region, where the problems are different than compared to those in capital?
During the Gen Z movement, we witnessed that it is more the urban youths kind of movement. And then during the Gen Z movement, we are not sure that how it will go to the villages, cities, across Kathmandu, across the regional areas of Nepal. But when we see the election result, it looks like resonated everywhere. So our prediction that this is the only urban youth resonance during the Gen Z movement, Nepo kids, all digital tech and things like this, it has resonated in the ground quite well. So because the election result shows that, because they are winning from every constituencies almost, and now they are nearer to the 2/3 of majority. But Madhesh province problems are a bit different. We have the younger population as compared to the national average. The Madhesh population is more younger. Madhesh province is one of the most, the number wise, if you will see, the labor migrating to the Gulf and Malaysia, if you will see, the Madhesh province holds the largest share. Almost out of 4, 1 people in Nepal who migrates to the foreign country are from the Madhesh region. So the unemployment crisis is quite huge there in Madhesh. Madhesh is known for the breadbasket, but then we see the agriculture, subsistence agriculture is not now getting to the life of the people, and they want to migrate. So that's the agriculture is not attractive profession for the Madhesh. Now we see other problems also. We see education. Education wise, I mean, to give you just data that how the data of the education. We have 4 census. In 1948, in 2048 Bikram Sambat, 2058, 2068 and 2078, the recent census. Out of 10 districts who are illiterate, top 10 districts of Nepal. In 2058 census, from the Madhya province, there was, from the now the 8th district Madhya province, only one district, Rohthat, was the least educated district in Madhya province. In 2058, we have 4 districts from the Madhya province. Out of 8 Madhya province, 4 districts are listed into the most illiterate districts of Nepal. In 2068 census, 6 districts of the Madhya, out of 8, 6 districts from the Madhya province are listed into the top 10 illiterate districts. And the recent census of 2078 Bikram Sambat, we have 7 districts illiterate among the top 10 of the Nepal. So that means that from the over 4 decades, the education is being in a declining situation. Whereas, if you will see if you will go further back to the history, Madhya province has been the teacher supplying province for the whole Nepal. Math teacher, science teacher are from the Madhya province. But now the Madhya province is facing the huge crisis in education. There are other problems also, unemployment, because if you see the unemployment data, proportionately among the other provinces, huge unemployment crisis, and that is what is reflected in the migration, because we have out of 4, 1 people is from the Madhya who is migrating to the Gulf country. And then there are regional disparities that we witnessed, because if you will see the Hulaki Rajmarg, we see the concentration of the poverty very high, concentration of the violence very high. Among the youth, there is a major problem now is the drug abuses. Drug abuses cases has been increased in Madhya. So Madhya is in as compared to the Nepal's other provinces, Madhya is facing the huge crisis. And I think the new government, if you will see the electoral victories of the new government, Madhya province is probably the most benevolent for the victory, because out of 32 seats, 30 seats in a directly elected, first past the post, the Balan government has secured the seat there. So I think the Madhya province has reacted extraordinarily for the nearing two-third majority of this government. So now the Madhya province is looking very high that this government will do something significant for the Madhya province. And I told you there are many other things, and historically on a development path, Madhya province has faced the many challenges, and these challenges, now the youth cabinet is there. So Madhya is looking for the youth cabinet to deliver for them.
I just want to go back to March 5 elections. Many political heavyweights who were capital-centered, urban-centered, chose constituencies in the Tarai Madhesh region for March 5 HOR elections. Why do you think was the affinity or the fascination with Tarai Madhesh region?
Madhya Pradesh is new Uttar Pradesh of India, because if you will see, the largest seat from the Uttar Pradesh is in the India's parliament. Similarly, we have the largest seat in the Madhya, from the Madhya province to our parliaments. That's the I mean, Bagmati Pradesh is also there, but then you have the difference between the Bagmati Pradesh and the Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh is the land of 6.5% of Nepal. Of the total land in Nepal, geographic land, 6.5% is Madhya province. But the population concentration is 21%. Bagmati province is also almost 21%. So Bagmati Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, 21% of the total population of Nepal. But geographic area wise, Madhya province is only 6.5%. That means in a population density of the Madhya province is quite huge. So that means that to do a campaign, to go and convince the electorate, you can, in a 2 hour, you can, 2 to 3 hour, you can, from one point of the province to the another point of the province you can travel, and you can meet 21% of the population coverage. So that is why the Madhya province is the new Uttar Pradesh of Nepal.
There's a logistical perspective to it.
Yes.
You mentioned of many problems that the province is facing. Education, as you mentioned, is worsening in recent years. Let's start with education sector. What would you say are the concrete steps that the current government can do to collaborate with the province to improve the sector?
On education, this government is focused on technology heavily, but then our problem is other also. Because I am reading the 100-point agenda, I think they are in the very top tier problems that they are identifying. But I think they should also identify the problems which are rooted in a grassroots. And the problems in the grassroots are very different than the 100-point agendas. So, like take for example, in Madhya province, there's the largest children as compared to the other provinces, the absolute number of the children that are out of school. Forget about going to school, they are out of school. They have not seen the classrooms. So that number is huge in Madhya Pradesh. So government first challenge is to get them back to the school, those who are out of school. And this is not a technology that you cannot make some software and then you can bring those children to the school. This needs a lot of social imaginaries and political imaginaries. And this, I think I would expect this government to work on this kind of the problems also. Prevalence of the child marriage in Madhya province is almost, across the district, is almost 80 to 90%. 80 to 90%. Out of 10, almost 8 women married before the age of 20. And if you will take the breakup between 15 to 19 year age, between 10 to 15 year age, between 15 to 19 year age is even higher percentage. So child marriage means that school dropout, means that girls are not going to school. So there is a problem, male and female, but women are facing more problem in the holding them to the school. So that's another challenge. And this is not something that you will make a software in Kathmandu and this will be done automatically. For this, you need a huge social imaginary again. Take another example, third example. Even if the child goes to school, dropout rates are extremely high. As compared to other provinces, dropout rate is extremely high in Madhya province. And I've told you the reason, child marriage and other issues are there. So this is the challenge again that the government has to do. This is the one problem of the political side where the government needs to do an intervention. And this intervention is certainly not going to take place from Single Darbar and from the digital imagination of the 100-point agenda. This is something that you have to do intervention in the ground. There is another problem. Another problem is that child, even if it goes to school and stays in school, their learning is not adequate as much as they should have in that class. Like for example, 4-class student is not able to answer you the 1-class course. 8-class student will not be able to answer the 4-class mathematics and sciences. So that means that learning gap is also huge. And again, if you will see the data of the other provinces, this learning gap is huge in Madhya province. So this is another problem. And then the problem is of the higher education also. In Madhya province, the higher education system is almost collapsed because we have the 4 constituent campuses in Tribhuvan University. And these campuses, the students are not learning anything. Our university system as overall in Nepal is not very well. But in the Madhya province, all the higher education institutions are almost in a verge of collapse or not functioning, or I would say dysfunctional. So making it to a functional is also an issue. So I'm telling you that from the 0 to 18 year age, we need a lot of interventions. And also, major intervention is drug abuses. From the 14 year to 24 year of the youths, we see a lot of drug abuses cases also in the Madhya province. That's another challenge that this government has to face. So I see 100-point agenda is all technical imaginaries, which is really good for the country. But these technical imaginaries, apart from these technical imaginaries, I think the groundwork, the ground realities of the provinces are different. And I hope that there also they should do an intervention.
If you were at authority, because you also worked in the Planning Commission, if you were in an authority position right now to mobilize resources, what would be the interventions that you are expecting?
When I was in a Planning Commission as a Vice Chair, we tried to do things with two approaches. One, that's my pride project that I have been telling to almost every platform, Feed the Nation campaign. Because if you will see the data of the agricultural production, Madhes can alone feed the nation, because Madhes is already the bread basket of Nepal. But saying the bread basket of Nepal is now not enough. I think the Madhes should come with the confidence that we can alone, Madhes province, of 8 districts of Madhes province can alone feed the whole country. Imagine that reality, if that can be achievable. Because if you will see the cereal crop production, sugar cane production, mango is almost 2/3. Fish is almost 56% that we contribute in Nepal. Madhes province contributes proportion. In a cereal crop production, almost 26%. 6.5% land, but 26% is still now the contribution of the Madhes province. In many other areas of the product, we see that thing. So Feed the Nation campaign is, we have championed in Madhes province. We have allocated the resources, but you know, province budget is not enough, because province budget is very little of the proportion of what the national budget is. So I think the federal government should also now take this agenda, which is of the Madhes province, to their agenda, and then allocate the resources more towards it. Madhes province is already doing, but federal government needs to allocate more resources to do that. Second thing that we wanted to do is on education. At least we should campaign to 100% literacy in Madhes province, but with not with numerical literacy, but we are also saying the digital literacy, because Madhes province digital literacy is very less. I mean, overall literacy is very less, but digital literacy is of course very less there. So we are campaigning that. So allocation of resources, and you know, on education we need a huge budget, and province budget is alone not enough, and provincial budget is also not enough. Second campaign that we wanted to do in Madhes province, and I'm telling you because I think our new government will see, and then probably can take it for consider it. Third campaign is that we give this midday meal program, right? Midday meal program, per student we give only 15 rupees. Imagine 15 rupees, can they feed the stomach? So we need to increase that amount. So for that, we need to rationalize our cost in the province, in a school management systems, but as well as we need to top up the budget. Because, you know, there is another problem in Madhes province, nutrition. Many people don't talk about it, or is overlooked. I mean, I don't see it in 100% agenda as well. Nutrition is the big problem in Nepal, not only in Madhes province, but across Nepal. Because our child are malnutritious, our child are stunted, our child, if you will see the number, anemia number is very high. So these are the thing of social interventions on the ground. And for that, I think the government should take the considerate view, apart from the technical imagination.
I just want to carry on the midday meal quota, the 15 rupees amount you mentioned. How much would be enough?
It depends how much would be enough. Because if we can centralize the kitchen system in the, I mean there are plans, you know, there are plans in a way that can reduce the cost, because we need to rationalize the cost also, because we see a lot of unrealized costs are taking place, and that is why the 15 rupees is not enough. So if we can reduce the cost and then increase a little bit of the investment, like for example, if the 15 rupees is there, I think we are adding up to the 10 rupees more to that, with the condition that we should rationalize the extra cost that is happening in the local level. If we can rationalize that cost and add a 10 rupees more, that can be a good plan for at least to provide the nutrition to the child in the school. So that is our expectation.
The Tarai region has always been the breadbasket of the country, but it also faces repeated issues like lack of fertilizers It's been years that climate change has made impact on the agriculture sector. Where do you think the previous governments did not work on?
This has been a major complaint. Thank you for asking this question. This is rarely a debate in national channels. Fertilizer is the major issue, and especially Madhya province, because fertilizer quotas is determined from the federal, and these quotas do not do justice. I would say justice, to be very mild, do not do a justice to the Madhya province. So this quota, because the province is the breadbasket, and at least the federal government should be able to do a justice to provide the fertilizers to the Madhya province. There is another issue also. You know, the sugarcane farmers
Yes.
always complain, and they have to come always to Maitighar to do a protest for their rightful demand to get the price of what they have sold to the sugar mills. This has been a problem since decades, and I hope that some major decision will take place. Even the subsidy in the sugar cane was removed, and Madhya province government has also protested that the subsidy should not be removed, because then there will be no incentive for the farmers to produce the sugar cane, and the industry will face a crisis because of they will not get a sugar cane to produce the sugar. So apart from this, as you rightly said, climate change is also a major issue. You know, the climate change debate in Nepal is always concentrated on high hills. We see the climate change is glacier is melting is a big climate change. That's the issue. We see red panda. I'm sarcastically telling the red panda is also an issue, but that is an issue. We see other issues but people who are facing the climate change, the vulnerable people, are in the Madhya province, because I have already told you 21% of the population is in the Madhya province. Most of them are dependent on agriculture, and the vulnerability of the climate change, if you will map whole Nepal, probably the most vulnerable to the climate change are the people in the Madhya province and across the Tarai region from east to west. And climate justice has not been taken place, because you see a lot of climate funding, a lot of climate issues, a lot of climate adaptation and mitigation projects. These are not going to the Madhya province. So I think I would expect this government should do a climate justice also. And these are not in the 100-point agenda. So I will just give you one empirical example. Recently, last year, Madhya province government has declared a drought. Followed by that, our cabinet in Kathmandu also, federal government has declared Madhya province a drought region. Imagine a drought in Madhya province. There will be unemployment, income of the people will be suppressed. There will be other effects of the production side. We have in the federal government, we had the President Chure program. That's a very pride project. But I think now that is downsized. And I think this government need to recalibrate the effort to save the Chure, because the decline of the Chure that we have seen across the decade, in a decade the decline is contributing the major problems for the Madhya province, for the water crisis, for the climate adaptation and things like this. Apart from that, land is an issue. I mean, many people do not talk about it, but the real land, I mean, if you will see, I mean, because this government has already coming up with the plan to apologize with Dalits, right? But apologizing with Dalit is not enough. You have to ensure them rights. And people who are most landless in Nepal are Dalits. How is the government give them a land? Because, you know, land is the only surety of the life, that you will live the life with dignity in Nepal. So these are also the issues of the land, climate change, Chure, and vulnerability across the region. And that should be the priority, because Madhya province is expecting a lot from this cabinet, because Madhya province has voted, I think, quite disproportionately higher than other provinces to this government. And then this Madhya province is expecting quite high. So I think the government will take a considerate view of the province.
You've championed barefoot research, getting data from the ground up. Does the current government's fast-paced and social media-driven decision-making process if you think, leave any room for slow and meticulous research required for sustainable development?
It's a good question. Okay, data. And data is one of the things that needs to be debated. We have a National Statistical Organization and we have a lot of surveys going on. But these data need to match up with the disaggregated data from the provinces and local government. When you see the disaggregated data and when you want to talk details on the provincial level or in a local level, you don't get the data. So the disaggregated data is a very important issue and that now on we should be debating about. Second thing is about the ground research. When you see the 100% agenda, the 100% agenda, all agendas looks like top down to me. It's not coming up from the ground. How it will be the ground evidences data, because I have already told you about the many problems where the ground up political and social problems are there. So the ground up data are not coming into the picture. So the barefoot research is about all I'm asking is to do a thick description of the thing. In Nepal we already debate. Most of the debates are thinly described debates. But thick description is like if the problem is there, we should be able to dissect that problem thickly, not thinly. Thinly description is like, okay, there is a problem, surfacially you want to solve the problem and do the policy interventions, legal interventions and things like this, But that doesn't solve the problem. Like obviously child marriage. Child marriage, we have laws, but actual prevalence is almost 80 to 90% in the society. That means that even if you have law, you don't solve the problem in the society. So that is why the ground up imaginations of the data is also required. So I think the government should start talking not from the lens of the 100-point agendas, that this is only the TOR of the government. It is top down. Now it should come from down to top also, and then to match up with the data.
This is the gateway for trade with our largest partner, India. How do you see this administration's Nepal first nationalistic rhetoric impacting the cross-border developmental project and provincial economies?
The revenue of the country. If you will see the revenue, mostly our customs contributes to the larger share in our revenue in Nepal. On the trade side, we need some major reforms also, and I think I'm quite hopeful with our finance minister also, because I think he holds good knowledge about the economy, and I think he has a lot of consultation with FNCCI, CNI and other things. And the very good news is that the Rameswar Khanal's report is being implemented, and 15 laws, they are saying that they will scrap the 15 laws, and some of the organizations also is being scrapped, and so new imagination is there. But then with the trade with India, there is an issue. There is an issue of how to make our industries more viable. And you see the investment, the cross-border investments are not taking place. I think this government should be able to facilitate the trade as well as facilitate the FDI, at least with India more, because the cross-border trade and with the foreign investment, we will be able to fulfill the promise. And this government has has said that 12 lakh employment is the promise in 5 years. The 12 lakh employment is a big promise. So this promise can only be fulfilled once we will have the good economic relation, economic diplomacy with India. And previously, the economic diplomacy with India is mostly on political and other things, sometimes rhetoric also. But now I think our finance minister and also foreign minister, he holds very good knowledge about the issues of South Asia. So I think now we will be more talking about economic diplomacy. Not only economic diplomacy, we need to talk about science diplomacy, because foreign direct investment can only be possible in Nepal once there is a technology transfer. because we need the technology, right? Technology transfer is required for the investments to take place. And the foreign policy and with the Sisir Canal and economic policies with Swarnim Wagle, I think they are the two best people in the cabinet that Nepal can imagine to see them there. So I think economic diplomacy and a science diplomacy with Sisir Canal and a clear agenda of driving the growth. To drive a growth, we need an FDI. To get an FDI, the best destination for us is either India or China. And to get an FDI, Swarnim Wagle can do all the right mechanism to take place, and they can. And so I think the economic diplomacy, science diplomacy, and the economic policies should come together. And I think we should move forward. In foreign policy, we have been debating many other things, which is hardly of the concern to the people. I think this government will start diplomacy, which really concerns to the people.
What are the issues that we are talking about that does not as much concern the people?
I mean, it's always about nationalism, you know. I mean, when there is any diplomacy with a foreign country, with diplomatic relation, is always done with a mindset of the high rhetoric nationalism, you know. I mean, which is good. And sometimes nationalism is good, you know. But we have never focused on the economic diplomacy and science diplomacy, because India is a big country, China is a big country. Both of them are technologically very powerful now, and I don't see any significant technological collaborations with India and China. India has IITs. I would like to see more collaborations with India's best higher education institutions and Nepalese institutions in agriculture. Like for example, in agriculture, we have agriculture university. In Madhya province has agriculture university. We have agriculture. India has a very good agriculture research institute. We need to see the good collaboration between this technical institute for the technological collaboration and to do a scientific research in Nepal. China has the good industrial research things takes place. So we should be able to collaborate with the industrial research with China and to get an FDI here. So these are the issues, not only the mere political issues that, okay, that dispute or what happens in history. I mean, we have been debating to change the 1950 treaty, right? I mean, ever since I am born, now I am almost 39, and I have been hearing that 1950 treaty will be amended from India and Nepal. But has it done? So we should move beyond that and to come to the term with the science diplomacy, technological diplomacy, economic diplomacy. These are the concerns of the people, where we will be able to provide them job, where we will be able to reimagine our economy in a way that delivers economic growth and things like this.
Lastly, Dr. Shah, the current government has floated the idea of scrapping unions in educational institutions. Do you think this step kind of takes away the only system for marginalized communities to put forth their voices?
There are two opinions. If you will see, the people will give you a very clear opinion that, okay, this trade union should be scrapped and this is a good agenda. This kind of populism, and this is good. But other side, if you will think deeply, these are not the good steps, because you know, these are the product of our democratic institutions, and the democracy is all about accountability, right? And accountability takes place with the institutions, with the people's unions, you know, because people's unions are the one who will be able to bargain with the government once there is an injustice to them. So, like take for example, if there are some injustice, then government is heavy-handed on some of the issues and agendas. These unions comes forward for their cause, and then to do a logical bargain with the government and to establish some of the issues for themselves. But scrapping these institutions and trade unions, government will be too powerful and people will be too weak. So that democracy is, again, probably we will not imagine that.
Dr. Shah, thank you so much for your time and your valuable opinions.
Thank you.
Well, governance is more than just a mandate, it is a science. As Dr. Shah has highlighted, without grounded data and provincial inclusion, even the most popular reforms risk becoming mere footnotes. Now, whether the current administration listens to the barefoot reality of the Tarai will determine if this movement is a national success. Thank you, as always, for staying with us here. Our discourse continues here on NTV World. Until next time.
हेलो
हेलो हजुर
यो लिस्टिङै गर्न पर्ने देखियो अब एक दिन लाग्छ हिँडेर पठाउन नसकिने अवस्था हो
अब सरको नम्बर टेक्स्ट गरिदिनु
हजुर हजुर
म उहाँसँग कुरा गर्छु है एउटा केस आज एकदम इमर्जेन्सी सुत्केरी हुन नसकेको
अक्सिजन चाहिने हो होइन के छ म एयरपोर्टमै छु विदिन 10 मिनट्समा रिसिभ गरेर म रेडी भइहाल्छु रेडी कन्डिसनमा बस्ने भनिदिनुहोस् म यहाँबाट म्याक्सिमम 40 मिनटमा म ल्यान्ड गरिहाल्छु
NTV World र आइसीयूमा अलर्ट गर्छु प्रब्लम लेभल भनेपछि ओटीमा पनि अलर्ट गरिरहेको छु सीएस गर्नुपर्ने हो कि
बागलुङ जिल्ला बुर्तिबाङकी 17 वर्षीय गर्भवती महिलाको हवाई उद्धार गरिएको दृश्य हो यो 2 दिनसम्म सुत्केरी व्यथा लागेको र स्थानीय स्वास्थ्य संस्थामा प्रसूति गराउन नसकेको कारण उनलाई गण्डकी प्रदेश सरकार सामाजिक विकास तथा स्वास्थ्य मन्त्रालयले आपतकालीन हवाई उद्धार गरी पश्चिमाञ्चल क्षेत्रीय अस्पताल पोखरामा थप सेवा प्रदानका लागि ल्याइएको हो असह्य प्रसव पीडाले छटपटिएर मृत्युको नजिक पुगेको दर्दनाक अवस्थामा उनको उद्धार भएको हो
हाम्रो गाउँ धेरै माथि छ अनि हाम्रो गाउँमा यस्तो विकासहरू केही पनि रहेन धेरै कम छ विकासहरू न शिक्षा पनि छैन खाने पानी पनि छैन यातायात सुविधा मात्र छ अनि यातायात सुविधामा नि बाटोहरू यस्तो बिग्रने भड्कने गरेको कारणले गाडी आउन ढिला गर्यो म त्यस्तै सानो उमेरको गर्भवती 2 जना हुनुहुन्छ उनीहरूलाई नि मलाई जस्तो नपरोस् न मेरो जस्तो बच्चा नहोस् उनीहरूलाई नि यो सुविधा पाउन् उनीहरूले भन्ने
नेपालमा भौगोलिक विकटता गरिबी तथा स्वास्थ्य संस्थामा पहुँचको अभावका कारण समयमा प्रसूति सेवा नपाउँदा हरेक वर्ष लगभग 1400 गर्भवती महिलाहरू तथा नवजात शिशुहरूले अकालमा ज्यान गुमाउने गर्दछन् नेपालमा विशेष गरी प्रसूति कहाँ गराउने भनेर निर्णय गर्न ढिलाइ स्वास्थ्य संस्था पुग्न ढिलाइ तथा स्वास्थ्य संस्था पुगिसकेपछि पनि उपचार पाउन ढिलाइ आदि कारणबाट मातृ मृत्यु हुने गरेको पाइएको छ नेपालको संविधानको धारा 38 ले प्रत्येक महिलालाई सुरक्षित मातृत्व र प्रजनन स्वास्थ्य सम्बन्धी हक प्रदान गरेको छ गर्भावस्था एक संवेदनशील अवस्था हो नेपाल सरकारले प्रसूति सेवालाई आकस्मिक स्वास्थ्य सेवा अन्तर्गत वर्गीकरण गरेको छ नेपालमा मातृ तथा बाल मृत्युमा कमी ल्याउने उद्देश्यले आर्थिक वर्ष 2073-74 को नीति तथा कार्यक्रम मार्फत राष्ट्रपति महिला उत्थान कार्यक्रम सञ्चालनमा आएको छ नेपाल सरकारले हवाई उद्धार सम्बन्धी कार्यविधि 2075 पारित गर्यो सोही कार्यविधि बमोजिम राष्ट्रपति महिला उत्थान कार्यक्रम मार्फत दुर्गम हिमाली तथा पहाडी क्षेत्रका ज्यान जोखिममा रहेका गर्भवती तथा सुत्केरी महिलाहरूको हवाई उद्धार हुन थालेको हो जस अन्तर्गत देशभरका जिल्लाहरूमध्ये 19 जिल्लामा पूर्ण र 29 जिल्लामा आंशिक रूपमा निशुल्क हवाई उद्धार कार्य सञ्चालनमा आयो। हालसम्म देशभरका 625 जना जोखिममा परेका गर्भवती तथा सुत्केरी महिलाहरूको हेलिकप्टरबाट निशुल्क हवाई उद्धार भइसकेको छ।
विगत 2073 देखि स्टार्ट भएको यो सुत्केरी तथा महिला उत्थान कार्यक्रम, तर यो 2075 सालतिर आएर चाहिँ हाम्रो यो MU अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ यो महिला तथा बालबालिका मन्त्रालय र नेपाली सेना बीच भएको र त्यसले गर्दाखेरि हाम्रो यो प्रक्रियाहरू चाहिँ एक्सपिडाइट हुने अलिकति प्रभावकारी भएको छ। र हाम्रो डाटाले पनि के बताउँछ भन्दाखेरि 75 सालदेखि 76 यता हेर्ने भने हरेक रेस्क्यु चाहिँ डबल, नम्बर अफ रेस्क्यु चाहिँ डबल भइरहेको छ। 75 सालमा जम्मा 24 वटा आर्मीले गरेका छन् भने 76 सालमा आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ 80 हुँदै 160 हुँदै यसरी बढ्दो क्रम छ। यो चाहिँ हामीले यसो मेरो पर्सनल ओपिनियनमा चाहिँ के लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि हाम्रो यो मन्त्रालय मार्फतबाटको जुन अवेरनेस प्रोग्राम त छँदैछ, त्यस बखत जुन हाम्रो यो नेपाली सेनाको हेलिकप्टर चाहिँ गाउँ गाउँमा पुग्दाखेरि चाहिँ मान्छेहरूलाई चाहिँ किन हेलिकप्टर आएछ भन्ने कुराको चासोले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो गाउँ गाउँमा चाहिँ एउटा अवेरनेस हो। हेलिकप्टरले चाहिँ नेपाली सेनाको हेलिकप्टरले चाहिँ सुत्केरी महिला रेस्क्यु गरेको छन् भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो हेलिकप्टरको आवाज र त्यो हेलिकप्टर त्यो गाउँमा घुमेको हिसाबले चाहिँ त्यहाँको स्थानीयहरू पनि अहिले यो सम्बन्धी चाहिँ अवेर हुँदै आएका छन् र यसले चाहिँ एउटा पोजिटिभ मेसेज गएको छ यो हेलिकप्टरले रेस्क्युले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ। हजुर, मोड अफ अपरेसन नै अलिकति फरक हुन्छ। हाम्रो जुन मेन्टल स्टेट हुन्छ सकेसम्म समयमा नै पुगौँ र समयमा नै सुत्केरी महिलाहरूलाई चाहिँ नजिकको हस्पिटलमा पुर्याइदिउँ भन्ने हाम्रो मनसाय रहेको हुन्छ।
संघीय सरकारको उक्त हवाई उद्धार कार्यक्रम सञ्चालनमा आएसँगै गण्डकी प्रदेश सरकारले पनि प्रशासकीय ऐन 2075 को दफा 2 ले दिएको अधिकारको प्रयोग गरी जोखिममा परेका गर्भवती र सुत्केरी महिलाहरूको हवाई उद्धार कार्यविधि 2080 लाई कार्यान्वयनमा ल्याएको छ। सोही कार्यविधि अनुसार हाल गण्डकी प्रदेशमा गर्भवती तथा सुत्केरी महिलाहरूको जटिलता व्यवस्थापन कार्यक्रम अन्तर्गत निशुल्क हवाई उद्धार सेवा सञ्चालनमा आएको छ। ठूलो महत्वाकांक्षा र प्राथमिकताका साथ सञ्चालनमा ल्याइएको यस कार्यक्रम मार्फत हालसम्म 56 जना जोखिममा परेका गर्भवती तथा सुत्केरी महिलाहरूको हवाई उद्धार भइसकेको छ। गण्डकी प्रदेश सरकार सामाजिक विकास तथा स्वास्थ्य मन्त्रालयको टोली छायाङ्कनका निम्ति धवलागिरी गाउँपालिकातर्फ अघि बढेको दृश्य हो यो। टोली जति अघि बढ्दै जान्छ त्यति नै सुन्दर प्राकृतिक छटाहरू देखा पर्दै जान्छन्। अनुपम सौन्दर्य तर जोखिमपूर्ण यात्रा, प्राकृतिक मनमोहक दृश्य अनि दुर्गम बस्तीहरू, यस्तै अद्भुत अनुभूतिहरूसँग रमाउँदै टोली ताकम गाउँ पुग्दछ।
असाले काम हुँदा मात्रै अब छरिने हैन, चराउने राम्रोसँग अनि पालिनतिर जानु भएन हैन।
हालसम्म यस धवलागिरी गाउँपालिकाबाट 7 जना जोखिममा परेका गर्भवती महिलाहरूको हवाई उद्धार भइसकेको छ र यस ताकम गाउँबाट मात्रै 3 जना गर्भवती महिलाको हवाई उद्धार गरी आमा र शिशुको ज्यान जोगाउन गण्डकी प्रदेश सरकार सफल भएको छ। यसै महत्त्वलाई आत्मसात गर्दै धवलागिरी गाउँपालिकाले आफ्ना 7 वटै वडाहरूमा एक वटा हेलिप्याडको निर्माण समेत गरिसकेको छ। टोलीको गन्तव्य भने धवलागिरीको अर्को गाउँ मुदी रहेको थियो। चिसो हुस्सु र कुहिरो छिचोल्दै भीर पाखाको रोमाञ्चक तर जोखिमपूर्ण यात्रा गर्दै टोली साँझको समयमा आफ्नो गन्तव्यमा पुग्दछ। केही थकान त केही उत्साह साथमा लिएर पुगेको टोलीलाई मुदी गाउँका स्थानीयले गरेको सत्कारले थप ऊर्जाशील बनाइदिन्छ। गाउँमा आफ्ना छोरी बुहारीलाई बचाउन मद्दत गर्ने मन्त्रालयका अधिकारीहरूलाई स्वागत गर्न पाउँदा उनीहरूको खुसीको सीमा थिएन। पाहुनाको स्वागतको लागि कोही मकै भुट्नमा व्यस्त देखिन्थे भने कोही सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रमको आयोजनामा खटिएका थिए। मगर जातिको बाहुल्यता रहेको धौलागिरी हिमालको काखमा रहेको यस मुदी गाउँमा सामान्य खेतीपाती र पशुपालन नै आय आर्जनको प्रमुख स्रोत रहेको छ। यहाँ एउटा स्वास्थ्य चौकी अवस्थित छ। यसै स्वास्थ्य चौकीमा मोदीका गर्भवती महिलाहरूले प्रसुति सेवा प्राप्त गर्दै आएका छन्। प्रसङ्ग 2077 माघ 18 गतेको हो। यहाँकी स्थानीय महिला मीना पुनलाई 2 दिनसम्म प्रसव पीडाले च्याप्दछ। कमजोर भई लगभग बेहोस हुने अवस्थामा पुगेकी उनलाई समयमा नै गण्डकी प्रदेश सरकारले आपतकालीन हवाई उद्धार गरी पश्चिमाञ्चल क्षेत्रीय अस्पताल पोखरामा प्रसुति गराई सकुशल आमा र शिशुलाई घर फर्काइदिन्छ। यिनै मीना पुन र उनको परिवारलाई भेट्न यो टोली मुदी पुगेको हो। हवाई उद्धार गरी जन्मिएकी उनकी छोरी अहिले हिँडडुल गर्ने भइसकेकी छिन्।
चचाइरहेको थिएँ अनि डेट पनि एकवटा पछाडि थियो। अनि त्यस्तै हामी गोत्न बसेँ। सासु ससुरा बुढाबुढी घरमै बस्नुहुन्थ्यो। अनि पेट दुख्न थाल्यो है बिहान। मलाई त त्यत्तिकै दुख्यो होला भने थाहा भएन। अनि फेरि पछाडि ढाड पनि दुख्ने अगाडि पेट पनि दुख्ने व्यथा लागेको होला भन्ने सोचेँ मैले। बुढालाई चाहिँ भनेन। अनि त्यस्तो गर्दै झन्झन दुख्न लाग्यो। यहाँ हेल्पोसमा बोकेर ल्याए चाहिँ 2 घन्टा मिल्थ्यो तर बोक्नै मिलेन है। यसरी बोक्दा पनि पेट दुख्ने है पछाडि बोक्न ढाड दुख्ने भएर बोक्नै मिलेन। झन् आत्तिन आयो के म त मर्छु मेरो बच्चा नि जन्माउन पाउँदैन जस्तो लाग्यो। अनि हेलिकप्टर बोलाएर सिधै पोखरा लगेर गण्डकी हस्पिटलमा हेलिकप्टरमा चढेपछि बाँचिन्छ भन्ने चाहिँ आश लाग्यो। मेरो बच्चालाई जन्म दिन्छु यो संसार देखाउँछु भन्ने पनि आश लाग्यो। दुःख पाएँ यसरी। अब यस्तो दुःख कसैलाई पनि नहोस्। यस्तो दुर्गम ठाउँहरूमा नि महिलालाई कति गाह्रो हुन्छ। यसरी उद्धार गरिदिनु भयो। मेरो ज्यान पनि बच्यो बच्चाको ज्यान पनि बच्यो।
धन्यवाद सरकार। मेरो बारीले मेरो नातिनीले बचाइदिनु भयो।
दर्दनाक प्रसव पीडाले छटपटिएर राज्यसँग जीवनका लागि गुहार माग्नुपर्ने त्रासको अझै पनि अन्त्य भएको छैन। त्यसैले मीना पुन झैं जोखिममा परेका अन्य गर्भवती महिलाहरूको निरन्तर सेवामा गण्डकी प्रदेश सरकार अग्रसर देखिएको पाइन्छ। सुत्केरी भएको 45 दिनभित्र कुनै समस्या देखिए नजिकको अस्पताल पुर्याएर निशुल्क उपचार गराउने प्रावधान समेत यस कार्यक्रममा रहेको छ। छोटो समयमा नै गण्डकी प्रदेशको यो हवाई उद्धार कार्यक्रमले दिएको प्रतिफल उदाहरणीय बन्न सकेको छ। नेपालमा जोखिममा परेका गर्भवती तथा सुत्केरी महिलाहरूका निम्ति यो एउटा बाँच्ने विकल्पको प्रमुख माध्यम बनेको छ। यस्ता प्रभावकारी र नवीनतम प्रयासहरू नेपाल लगायत नेपाल जस्ता कम आय भएका अन्य विकास उन्मुख राष्ट्रहरूका निम्ति पनि प्रभावकारी सिद्ध हुन सक्नेछन् भन्ने विश्वास लिन सकिन्छ। तत्काल हवाई उद्धारका लागि मन्त्रालयको हटलाइन टेलिफोन मार्फत प्रत्यक्ष सम्पर्कमा आएका वा स्थानीय स्वास्थ्य संस्थाको सिफारिस पत्रका आधारमा सम्बन्धित जिल्लाको प्रमुख जिल्ला अधिकारीको समन्वयमा सूचना प्राप्त हुनासाथ जोखिममा परेका गर्भवती तथा सुत्केरी महिला र नवजात शिशुको उद्धार गर्ने गरिएको छ।
गुड वेदर भएको बेला नो प्रब्लम, हामी डाइरेक्ट जान सक्छौँ होइन। ब्याड वेदर भएको बेला अलिक घुम्नु पर्ने हुन्छ, एक्स्ट्रा टाइम लाग्छ। त्यो लाग्ने समयमा बिरामीलाई केही होला भन्ने हामीलाई चिन्तित तुर्याउँछ। त्यसले हाम्रो उद्देश्य नै टाइममा बिरामीलाई हस्पिटल ल्याउने र यथाशीघ्र चाहिँ स्वास्थ्य लाभ उहाँहरूलाई चाहिँ एसिस्टेन्ट हो डक्टरकोमा पुर्याउँ भन्ने नै हाम्रो इन्टेन्सन हुन्छ। गण्डकी प्रदेश यो स्वास्थ्य मन्त्रालयबाट उहाँहरूसँग मेरो डाइरेक्ट नम्बर छ, सेल नम्बर। उहाँहरूले डाइरेक्ट कल गर्नुहुन्छ। कल आउने बित्तिकै यो सेन्सिटिभ रेस्क्यु फ्लाइट भएकोले चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ इमिडिएटली अरू टुरिस्ट फ्लाइटहरूलाई साइडमा राखेर भए पनि हामीले रेस्क्यु फ्लाइटलाई चाहिँ बेसी प्रिफरेन्स दिन्छौँ। कोअर्डिनेसन चाहिँ उहाँहरूसँग राम्रो हुन्छ हामीसँग।
अस्पतालको भूमिकाको कुरा गर्नुपर्दाखेरि चाहिँ मन्त्रालयबाट चाहिँ यहाँ कन्ट्याक्ट हुन्छ। त्यसमा विशेष गरेर हाम्रो अस्पतालमा इमर्जेन्सी वार्डको इन्चार्ज चाहिँ फोकल पर्सनको रूपमा तोकिनु भएको छ र उहाँहरू मन्त्रालयबाट फोन आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ इमर्जेन्सी वार्डको ल्यान्डलाइन नम्बर छ हाम्रो र इमर्जेन्सी वार्डको इन्चार्जको नम्बर छ। कुनै पनि नम्बरमा चाहिँ उहाँले कन्ट्याक्ट गरेर यस्तो खालके केस चाहिँ एयरलिफ्ट हुँदैछ भने इन्फर्मेसन दिनुहुन्छ। त्यसपछि चाहिँ उहाँ जो फोकल पर्सन हुनुहुन्छ उहाँले चाहिँ त्यतिखेर चाहिँ एउटा टिम चाहिँ एक्टिभेट हुन्छ। गाइनेकोलोजिस्ट हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँलाई चाहिँ खबर गर्नुहुन्छ, म्याटर्निटी वार्डको इन्चार्जलाई खबर गर्नुहुन्छ र आइसियू चाहिन सक्छ कि भन्ने अवस्थामा अलर्ट बनाउनको लागि मात्रै भए पनि आइसियूमा बेड छ कि छैन, यस्तो खालके केस चाहिँ एयरलिफ्ट हुँदैछ अनि कसैलाई खाली गर्ने सक्ने खालके अवस्था छ कि छैन भन्नको लागि पनि त्यो खालके माहौल चाहिँ क्रिएट हुन्छ। उहाँहरूले चाहिँ त्यसरी एक्टिभेट हुनुहुन्छ र त्यसपछि चाहिँ उहाँ इमर्जेन्सी वार्डको इन्चार्ज अथवा फोकल पर्सन थ्रु नै हेलिप्याडमा चाहिँ एउटा टिम चाहिँ खटाइन्छ जसले चाहिँ पेसेन्टलाई रिसिभ गर्नुहुन्छ।
सन् 2016 को जनसाङ्ख्यिक तथा स्वास्थ्य सम्बन्धी सर्वेक्षणका अनुसार नेपालमा प्रति 1 लाख गर्भवती तथा सुत्केरी मध्ये 239 जनाले ज्यान गुमाउने गरेका थिए। पछिल्लो तथ्याङ्क अनुसार हाल यो संख्या घटेर 151 मा झरेको पाइएको छ। सोही सर्वेक्षण अनुसार यसरी उल्लेख्य संख्यामा महिला मृत्युदर घट्नुका कारणहरूमध्ये गर्भवती तथा सुत्केरी महिलाहरूको जटिलता व्यवस्थापन अन्तर्गतको निशुल्क हवाई उद्धार कार्यक्रम समेतको महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका रहेको मान्न सकिन्छ। नेपाल सरकारले सन् 2030 सम्ममा मातृ मृत्युदर प्रति लाख जीवित जन्ममा 70 मा झार्ने लक्ष्य लिएको छ। यस लक्ष्यलाई पूरा गर्नको निमित्त स्थानीय तहमा दक्ष जनशक्ति सहितको पर्याप्त स्रोत साधन युक्त बर्थिङ सेन्टरको स्थापनाको आवश्यकता देखिन्छ। यस बाहेक हवाई उद्धार कार्यविधि बमोजिम नाइट भिजन सुविधा सहितको निशुल्क एयर एम्बुलेन्स सेवा सञ्चालनमा ल्याउनु, उद्धारका लागि समन्वय र सञ्चार प्रणालीलाई व्यवस्थित र छिटो छरितो बनाई आपतकालीन स्वास्थ्य सेवाको टोलीलाई सतर्क र तयारी अवस्थामा राख्नु पनि त्यत्तिकै जरुरी देखिएको छ। गण्डकी प्रदेशको कुल 85 वटै स्थानीय तहमा कम्तीमा 1 वडा 1 हेलिप्याड भएको खण्डमा जोखिममा परेका गर्भवती तथा सुत्केरी महिलाहरूको जीवन रक्षाको लागि यो निशुल्क हवाई उद्धार कार्यक्रम वरदान साबित हुने कुरामा दुई मत छैन।
This week on Business World, global markets are being reshaped by one dominant force, conflict-driven economic uncertainty. From rising inflation risk in Europe to tightening energy supplies and shifting trade alliances, the ripple effects are being felt across industries and continents. I'm Siksha Bhatrai, and here is a weekly roundup of the biggest stories shaping the global business, technology and economic landscape. Europe's economic outlook is weakening as inflationary pressures return to the forefront. The IMF warns ongoing geopolitical tensions could significantly drag down growth across the Eurozone. The outlook underscores how deeply global conflict is feeding into the inflation investment uncertainty and slowing recovery.
Japan and Australia have finalized a deal for a fleet of stealth frigates as part of Canberra's significant naval expansion to deter China. Australia will invest 10 billion Australian dollars over a decade to acquire 11 of these advanced Mogami-class warships. The first 3 ships will be delivered by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, representing one of Japan's largest defense exports since the Second World War. Defense officials highlighted the agreement as the fastest peacetime acquisition in the history of the Royal Australian Navy. Europe entered 2026 with downgraded growth expectations and higher inflation due to destabilizing economic effects of the war in the Middle East. International Monetary Fund has warned the conflict could shave up to 1.7 percentage points of the euro area GDP if conditions worsen significantly.
Our expectation is that the European Central Bank, and that is also our recommendation in the reference forecast, should stay with a neutral monetary policy stance, and that means we would see a 225 basis points increase in the policy rate in 2026, but that to some extent can be taken back in 2027. Of course, there is uncertainty on this, and we need to see over the next few months what scenario we are in, but that's the recommendation we have if the reference forecast would materialize.
In a direct response to these risks, Europe is moving to secure its energy supply chain. The European Commission is rolling out emergency measures as fuel costs surge and supply routes face disruption. The strategy highlights the growing urgency to balance energy security with economic stability.
The European Commission has outlined a set of measures to manage rising energy risks linked to the Middle East conflict, with a focus on securing fuel supplies ahead of the peak summer travel season. The EU plans to launch a fuel monitoring system to track production, imports and stock levels, prioritizing aviation fuel as supply concerns grow. Around 20% of the bloc's jet fuel imports pass through the Strait of Hormuz, raising vulnerability to disruptions. Brussels is also considering alternative sourcing options, including increased imports, while reviewing rules on fuel use and airport operations to ease pressure on airlines. On gas, member states may be allowed to fill storage to 80% capacity instead of the usual 90% to limit price spikes. Since the start of the crisis, the EU has spent an additional 24 billion euros on energy imports due to rising costs. The bloc is also preparing support measures for industries, agriculture and fisheries, alongside a fertilizer strategy and a broader push to accelerate renewable energy and electrification.
In more from the region, business activity in the Eurozone contracted in April for the first time in 16 months. This has been driven by rising energy costs and supply chain disruptions linked to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East.
Business activity in Eurozone contracted in April for the first time in 16 months, driven by rising energy costs and supply chain disruptions linked to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. The downturn reflects mounting pressure on the region's economy as higher energy prices weigh on production and logistics, while continued instability in global supply chains hampers business operations across multiple sectors. It is said that contraction underscores the Eurozone's vulnerability to external shocks, with geopolitical tensions adding fresh strain to an already fragile economic recovery. The slowdown has raised concerns among policymakers about the pace of growth in the coming months, particularly as inflationary pressures remain uneven across member states. Economists warn that prolonged disruptions could dampen business confidence and delay investment decisions, potentially weakening the region's broader recovery trajectory.
Beyond Europe, countries are accelerating long-term energy investment to manage uncertainty. Turkmenistan and China are expanding one of the world's largest gas fields to secure future supply. The move reflects a broader global shift towards stronger energy partnerships amid volatile markets.
Turkmenistan and China officially broke ground on Friday for a major expansion of the Galkanish gas field, the world's second-largest natural gas deposit. Former President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov and Chinese Vice Premier Deng Xuexiang inaugurated the fourth phase of development at the site located in the Karagum Desert. Since the opening of the Central Asia-China pipeline in 2009, Turkmenistan has exported nearly its entire gas production to China to meet rising demand. The ceremony featured lavish state-sponsored performances and speeches highlighting the deep diplomatic and economic friendship between the two nations. This expansion aims to unlock even more of the country's vast reserves, which currently rank as the fourth largest in the world.
At the same time, the global push away from fossil fuels is gaining urgency. More than 50 nations are meeting in Colombia to discuss phasing out hydrocarbons. But the timing highlights a key contradiction as crisis deepened dependence on fossil fuels remains hard to break.
More than 50 countries are convening in Colombia this week for the world's first high-level conference dedicated to phasing out fossil fuels as the ongoing Iran war exposes the global economy's continued dependence on coal, oil and gas. Ministers and officials are set to gather in the Caribbean city of Santa Marta from April 24 to 29 against a backdrop of surging energy prices, supply disruptions and heightened geopolitical risk linked to the conflict in the Middle East. The summit, described by organizers as a coalition of the willing, aims to advance political cooperation on transitioning away from fossil fuel after years of stalled progress in United Nations climate negotiations. Despite long-term climate commitments, many countries have reverted to increased fossil fuel use in the short term to secure energy supplies, underscoring the structural challenges of reducing dependence on hydrocarbons during crises.
And the impact of energy disruptions is now spilling into essential sectors like agriculture. India's fertilizer production has dropped sharply due to constrained natural gas supplies. This raises broader concerns over food security and rising cost pressures.
India's fertilizer production fell by nearly a quarter in March, according to official data, after the Middle East conflict caused disruptions to natural gas imports used in manufacturing. The slump comes after the frequent closure of the Strait of Hormuz, through which a third of the world's fertilizers normally transit. Natural gas is a key input in producing urea, a vital fertilizer for India's agriculture sector, making output sensitive to global energy supply shocks. The Ministry of Commerce said fertilizer output dropped 24.6% in March compared with the same month last year, reversing gains seen in previous months. Authorities said there are currently adequate stocks and that supply sourcing is being diversified across multiple countries. However, concerns remain over potential impacts on food production, given India's heavy reliance on fertilizers and large agricultural workforce, which employs about 45% of its people.
Industrial sectors are also feeling the strain. France's plastics industry is facing surging cost and supply disruptions. The situation highlights how energy shocks are cascading into manufacturing and global production systems.
Manufacturers in France's Plastics Valley are struggling with a severe surge in operational costs and critical supply chain disruptions. The Regional Industry Association reports that tensions in petrochemical markets linked to the war in Iran have caused raw material prices to double within weeks. Companies are forced to place orders without guaranteed prices or delivery dates. These supply uncertainties are creating significant strain on production schedules and financial stability for plastics factories across the region. The ongoing conflict continues to destabilize the global energy and material sectors, leaving French manufacturers in a state of high economic vulnerability.
In more fragile economies, the balance between stability and liquidity is becoming increasingly difficult. Yemen's currency has strengthened, but strict controls have triggered a severe cash shortage. The crisis illustrates the complex trade-offs policymakers face in conflict-affected economies.
Government measures to halt the collapse of the Yemeni rial have stabilized the currency but triggered a severe liquidity crisis, disrupting daily life and business activity. Actions by the Central Bank of Yemen, including shutting unlicensed exchange firms, tightening control over remittances, and regulating access to foreign currency, helped strengthen the rial from around 2,900 to about 1,500 per US dollar in recent months. However, residents in cities including Aden, Taiz, and Mukalla, report acute shortages of local cash, with banks and exchange outlets limiting conversions from foreign currency. The shortage has left many unable to access funds, slowed business operations, and fueled a growing black market offering less favorable exchange rates, underscoring the fragile balance between currency control and liquidity in the war-hit economy.
Amid these tensions, countries are strengthening economic partnerships. India and South Korea are moving to deepen trade ties and expand cooperation in key sectors. The push signals a broader shift towards resilient supply chains and strategic alliances.
India and South Korea have agreed to resume negotiations to upgrade their Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement (CEPA) as the two sides look to expand trade, strengthen supply chains, and deepen cooperation in critical technologies. Speaking in a joint address with South Korean President Lee Jae-myung, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said both countries are aligned on core values of democracy, mutual respect, and the rule of law, which continue to underpin their partnership. South Korean President said Seoul will seek to raise the level of its economic cooperation with India, signaling a push to broaden and deepen an already expanding partnership between the two countries. The leaders set an ambitious target to raise bilateral trade from the current $27 billion to $50 billion US dollars by 2030, noting that steps taken during the visit would help accelerate progress. An India-Korea Financial Forum has also launched to boost economic engagement and facilitate greater investment flows.
In the technology sector, a major leadership shift is underway. Apple CEO Tim Cook is expected to step down, marking the end of a transformative era. The transition comes as artificial intelligence reshapes the global tech landscape.
Apple CEO Tim Cook is expected to step down as the company's chief executive later this year, after 15 years in the role, handing the top job to a company veteran, John Ternus, a senior vice president of hardware engineering. The 65-year-old took over from co-founder Steve Jobs and is credited with significantly expanding Apple's product range and market value. Cook is set to leave the CEO position in September and transition to a role as executive board chairman. Cook is credited with expanding Apple's product line and ramping up the company's value to around $4 trillion US dollars based on current share prices. Cook's successor, John Ternus, has been with Apple since 2001 and has played a key role in the company's hardware development over 2 decades. The leadership change comes as Apple navigates rapid shifts in the technology sector driven by artificial intelligence.
At the same time, the global race in automation is accelerating. China's robotics industry is rapidly expanding its international footprint. The surge reflects growing demand for efficiency amid rising cost and labor shortages.
China's robotics industry is rapidly scaling its global footprint, with eastern Anhui province emerging as a key manufacturing hub after reporting a 30-fold surge in robot production over the past decade, according to local officials. At the center of this growth in Wuhu, home to the country's first national-level robotics industry cluster, where companies are accelerating exports and diversifying products lines to capture rising international demand for automation solutions. Among Among the main players is AI Moga Robotics, which is ramping up overseas shipments of both quadruped and humanoid robots. The company said its products are now exported to more than 30 countries and regions, with bulk deliveries completed in key European markets including the UK, Poland and Italy, a sign executives say of growing commercial maturity. The surge in production and exports comes as global demand for automation accelerates amid labor shortages, rising costs and increased emphasis on operational efficiency, turning robotics into a key battleground in international manufacturing competition.
And finally, a story of how global attention can transform a local economy. Wrexham's rise under Hollywood ownership is driving tourism investment and international visibility. A reminder that in today's interconnected world, even a football club can become a powerful economic engine.
Wrexham's rapid rise under Hollywood owners Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney has delivered a major economic boost to North Wales, extending far beyond its on-field success. The football club's turnaround from the fifth tier of English football to now battling for promotion to the Premier League after an unprecedented 3 consecutive promotions has driven a surge in international tourism, particularly from North America, which is supported by the global exposure from the Welcome to Wrexham documentary series. Local businesses report sharply higher revenues, with tourism income estimated at around $271 million annually, alongside significant increases in hotel occupancy during match days. Hospitality owners say American and Canadian visitors now make up a substantial share of bookings, with some reporting international guests accounting for most of the weekend demand. The growth has also encouraged new investment in infrastructure, including a planned 7,500 capacity stadium stand that will expand the club's matchday revenue potential.
From inflation shocks and energy disruptions to shifting trade alliances and rapid technological change, this week's development highlight how just interconnected the global economy has become. As markets navigate uncertainty, the balance between risk, resilience and opportunity remains at the center of the global business story. That's all for this week's Business World. I'm Siksha Bhattrai. Thank you for watching.
It is no more the remote far west, but the wonderful west. Nine districts are in the far west province, from the low-lying Tarai to the heightening mountains. Climatically, the province has all tropical weather conditions prevailing in Nepal. This makes the province a paradise for tourists of all interests. Khaptad, Badimalika, Api and Saipal mountains, Surmi and Ghodagodi lakes, Ramarosan area, Dodara Chandani, Sukla Fata Wildlife Reserve, Tikapur Botanical Garden, Amargari Fort. Dhangadi, the province headquarters, is the gateway to the state. The business hub of the far west region, Dhangadi, is becoming well equipped for political, trade and business infrastructures and other human resources. The far west region of Nepal is blessed with natural beauty. Any traveler is attracted by this epitome of beauty and a gift of Mother Nature. In addition to the natural beauty of the region, you can see the human civilizations rich in culture and arts throughout the province. The people of this region enjoy their unique lifestyle, identified by their culture, language and religion. The far west region has the wealth of nature, culture and religious uniqueness to offer to every traveler. Khaptad. The Khaptad National Park, spreading across 4 districts of Doti, Acham, Bajang and Bajura of the far west province, is situated at an altitude of 3,000 meters above the sea level. The natural splendor and breathtaking views revealing geography's diversity is a sight to remember for every nature lover. This is the land of penance, where Khaptad Baba lived for 50 years in his pursuit of knowledge and enlightenment. There are 22 Pathans and the famous Triveni temple in Khaptad. The natural splendor of Khaptad area is attracting many domestic and foreign tourists by the day. Trekking in the Khaptad region is a lifetime experience, especially with the numerous species of birds, wildlife, flora and fauna in the numerous trails. Khaptad is the meeting point of 4 districts, Doti, Acham, Bazan and Basura, a chaste land of Khaptad Baba, an important place for religious tourism. Special prayers and worship are offered in the place during the famous Dasara fair, some of the major attractions in the region. Badimalika. Situated 4,200 meters above the sea level, Badimalika is a famous religious site in remote Bajura district of the far west province. The annual fair on the occasion of Janai Purnima draws thousands of devotees at the Badimalika temple. Lush green meadows, pure waterfalls, and whistling ravines flowing downstream are the major attractions of the natural wonder. Thousands of domestic and foreign tourists flock the temple every year during the fair and other times as well. Badimalika is popular among people in the far west and Karnali provinces. However, few people from Kathmandu and Gadwal of India also visit this site for pilgrimage. The famous pilgrimage site in Bajura district of far west province, Badimalika. There is a popular belief that offering worship to deity Badimalika fulfills one's wishes. Large fair takes place every year on Janai Purnima. The Badimalika temple on top of a hill. The 22 partans, various species of flowers, panoramic view of the mountain range. Only a few small tea shops are seen as amenities in this area. One can reach Badimalika by taking a flight from Nepalganj to Kolti airport of Bajura. Day-long drive from Kolti followed by 3 days of walk. Suklafata. Suklafata National Park is a world-famous destination for those interested in wildlife. The main attraction of the park is the large grassy meadows where the Barasingas are seen in big numbers. The flock in the park is said to be the largest in the world. The park is home to 46 mammals, including endangered Bengal tiger, elephant, and anjir, and over 423 species of birds. The national park offers elephant ride and jungle safari to tourists as major recreational activities. The national park along Nepal-India border in Kanchanpur district is famous for watching wild elephants and Barasinga, a heaven for wildlife enthusiasts. The attractions: grassy meadows, swamps and wetlands. Ramaroshan, located in Acham district of Nepal at an altitude of 2500 meters above the sea level. Ramaroshan is a jewel for tourists in the far west province. A place having 18 patch of meadows, locally known as Partons, is a major tourism destination. The beautiful Ramaroshan Lake is the major attraction for tourists here. This area is the only habitat of national bird of Nepal, Daffy, or the Lophophorus. The rhododendron forest along the trails leading to the lake rejuvenates every traveler. Amargadi Fort. Amargadi Fort is a historic castle in Amargadi municipality of Danildura. This fort is an important site of historical, archaeological, political, religious, social and cultural aspects. The fort that witnessed the bravery of Kaji Amar Singh Thapa in the unification campaign of Nepal is strategically located at the top of a hill in the district headquarters of Darildura. General Thapa established his administrative headquarters in the fort itself during the unification campaign. This is an interesting site for researchers and archaeological explorers.
Nepal's president adjourns federal parliament session on cabinet's recommendation. Government reverses police academy relocation. Heat wave grips Nepal's Tarai districts. Meteorologists urge caution as extreme heat to persist for next 3 days. Academic session start date sparks confusion nationwide. Schools split over government's decision. U.S. seizes Iran-linked oil tanker in Indian Ocean. Trump orders U.S. Navy to destroy boats laying mines in Hormuz. India holds state election in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. Polls seen as test of PM Modi-led alliance's popularity. And FIFA urges NSC to lift ANFA suspension, warns of complications if decision not reversed by May 4 deadline. Hello there, I'm Smitugi Singh Tamang. This is NTV World News Hour coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in detail. Nepal's President Ramchandra Paudel has adjourned the federal parliament session scheduled for coming April 30 on the recommendation of the Council of Ministers, citing special reasons. The session was set to be convened under Article 93(1) of the Constitution of Nepal on April 30 at 2 p.m. at the Federal Parliament building in Singadabar. Extreme heat and scorching winds have disrupted daily life across Nepal, with temperatures in parts of the Nepal's Tarai region consistently crossing 40 degrees Celsius. The Met Agency has warned that hot and dry conditions driven by westerly winds and lack of pre-monsoon rainfall will persist for at least 3 more days. Central and western Tarai districts are the hardest hit, with cities like Bhairawa, Nepalganj and Simera experiencing severe heat wave conditions. Meanwhile, air quality in Kathmandu has worsened significantly, with the air quality index reaching a very unhealthy level of 216, making it the second most polluted city globally and compounding health risks for residents. We'll look more into this in our segment Issue of the Day later in the bulletin. Now, despite the government fixing May 4 as the start of the new academic session, private and community schools nationwide say they will begin classes from April 28. The government postponed the session to revise the academic calendar. However, community schools have criticized the move as hasty and impractical, arguing that authority over academic schedules lies with local governments. Private schools warn the delay could disrupt syllabus completion and have decided to proceed with earlier classes. Parents have also expressed concern, saying the delay creates difficulties for working families. The Ministry of Education maintains the revised date will not cause problems, citing adjustments due to public holidays. We will look more into this in our segment's cover story later in the bulletin. Now, in international, the United States seized another tanker linked to Iranian oil smuggling a day after the Islamic Revolutionary Guards attacked 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. Defense Department released footage of forces on the deck of the oil tanker called Majestic X, which was seized in the Indian Ocean. Meanwhile, Donald Trump says the U.S. has total control over the Strait of Hormuz and says they will shoot and kill any boat laying mines there. Earlier, the Deputy Speaker of the Iranian Parliament said Iran had received the first tolls from shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Elections have been held in India's Tamil Nadu and West Bengal today in staggered regional elections that could test Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ruling alliance as well as a resurgent opposition. The contests are widely seen as a key barometer of national momentum and the first major electoral test for both the federal government and the opposition amid economic uncertainty linked to the Middle East conflict. For the ruling National Democratic Alliance, NDA, the stakes are significant. The coalition, led by Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party BJP, currently controls only one of the 4 major states voting, Assam, and is looking to expand its footprint and reinforce its claim as a truly pan-India political force. The Federation of Football Association, FIFA, and the Asian Football Confederation, AFC, have written to the National Sports Council, NSC, urging it to lift the suspension imposed on the All Nepal Football Association, ENFA. The governing body of Nepali football was slapped with a 3-month suspension by the NSC, the governing body of Nepali sports, on March 25. FIFA and AFC have also set a deadline of May 4 for the withdrawal of these suspensions, stating that the decision interferes with ENFA's autonomy. FIFA has also warned through its letter that if the suspension is not revoked by the given deadline, the situation could become further complicated. FIFA, meanwhile, is holding its 76th Congress in Vancouver, Canada on April 30. A relentless heat wave is sweeping Nepal's Tarai, with temperatures soaring past 40 degrees Celsius and daily life grinding under intense sun and hot winds. From Bhairawa to Nepalganj and Simera, some of the hardest hit areas are battling extreme heat stress, especially across Lumbini province and Sudur Paschim province. More on this in our Issue of the Day segment after this break. Welcome back. This is NTV World News Hour, and now we're turning to our issue of the day. Extreme heat and scorching winds have pushed temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius across Nepal's central and western Tarai, disrupting daily life as a severe heat wave continues. Met Agency says Bhairawa, Nepalganj and Simera are among the worst affected by the heat wave, while Lumbini and Sudur Paschim provinces remain under extreme heat stress. Sabika Shrestha digs deeper.
Extreme heat and scorching winds have largely affected daily life across Nepal. The rising mercury level is being driven by westerly winds combined with a lack of pre-monsoon rainfall, leaving much of the region under sustained heat stress. Especially the central and western Tarai are bearing the brunt of the heat as temperatures consistently cross 40 degrees Celsius. In a bulletin issued on Thursday, the Meteorological Forecasting Division of the Department of Hydrology warned that these hot and dry conditions are likely to continue for at least the next 3 days. According to the cities like Bhairhava, Nepalganj and Simara are among the hardest hit by a severe heat wave condition commonly known as Lu, which is a dry and intense hot wind sweeping through the region. Lumbini and Sudur Paschim provinces have been identified as the most vulnerable, with temperatures expected to remain dangerously high. Meteorologists add that the absence of any active weather systems bringing rainfall has allowed hot air to stagnate over the plains, creating oppressive conditions with little immediate relief in sight. Division's senior meteorologist Min Kumar Aryal said the department has a 3-tower warning system on its official platform to alert the public. Green signals normal conditions, yellow indicates caution, and brown representing high-risk situations.
खास गरिकन अहिले अब पानी पर्ने सम्भावना त खासै त्यस्तो देखिदैन। कोशी प्रदेशको पहाडी भूभागतिर फाटफुट वर्षा मात्रै हो। त्यो भन्दा पनि अहिले विशेष गरिकन तराईकोमा पनि लुम्बिनी प्रदेश र सुदूरपश्चिम प्रदेश भूभागमा चाहिँ अहिले तातो हावाको लहर भनेर हामीले दिइरहेका छौं। बाँकी जस्तै अब बाँकी प्रदेशका तराईका भूभागहरुमा पनि तातो दिन भनेर पनि दिइरहेका छौं। त्यति मात्र होइन, उपत्यका लगायत अब नदीले कटान गरेका खोजहरु गहिरो स्थानहरुमा पनि तातो दिन हुने भनेर हामीले भनिरहेका छौं।
As temperatures continue to rise, health officials and weather experts are urging people to take extra precautions to stay safe. They warn that extreme heat can quickly lead to dehydration and heat stroke if proper care isn't taken. Authorities are advising residents to avoid going outside during the hottest part of the day, usually between 11 a.m. in the morning and 4 p.m. in the afternoon, unless absolutely necessary. Local administrations in the affected areas are also on alert, working to ensure steady water supply and that hospital and emergency services are prepared as Nepal's Tarai Plains deals with this intense heat wave. Meanwhile, air quality in Kathmandu has taken a sharp turn for the worse, with the air quality index rising to a very unhealthy, that is, level of 216.
प्रदूषण त स्वाभाविक रूपमा हुने नै भयो, किनभने पानी नपरिसकेपछि अब भेहिकल्सहरुको प्रदूषण त्यस्तै छ। अब नि अपर एयर भनेमा त वायुमण्डलको उपल्लो भूभागबाट पनि पश्चिमबाट नआए पनि त्यहाँ पनि त्यसको खालको पनि मुभमेन्ट हुन्छ हैन। अरु विभिन्न कारणहरु, एक्सटर्नल कारणहरु पनि छ। मेन त इन्टरनल कारण भनेको पानी नपर्नाले यही वायुमण्डल भित्र रुमलिनी हो, यहीँको धुवा धुलो रुमलिनी हो। त्यो हिसाबले उपत्यकामा यदि सिस्टमहरु, प्रणालीहरु चाहिँ स्थिर रह्यो भने त्यो कहीँ जान पाउँदैन। हावाको गति कम भयो हुने बित्तिकै त्यो स्थिर भएर रहन्छ। त्यही कुरा राति केही माथि जान्छ, फेरि दिउँसो भएपछि बिस्तारै कुलिङ भएर चिसो चिसो भएर तलतल आउँछ र पुरै हेजी बन्छ। त्यो चाहिँ पानी नपर्नको कारण, अर्को हावा राम्रोसित नलागिदिनको कारण मात्रै हो।
The capital has now been ranked the second most polluted city in the world, adding to growing public health concerns. Residents already facing intense heat, the combination of extreme temperatures and hazardous air is creating a double burden on daily life and health. Sabika Shrestha with camera person Samir Thapa reporting for NTV World.
As soaring temperatures continue to grip daily life, we asked people in the Tarai region on how they are staying safe in the sweltering heat. Let's hear their say in today's Public Pulse.
अब आफूले जोगाउनको लागि राम्रो ठाउँमा गएर अब घरमा नि बस्नु पर्छ धेरै भन्दा धेरै है। अनि चिसो पानी एकदमै घामबाट जाँदा बित्तिकै चिसो पानी खानु हुँदैन। एकछिन आराम गर्ने, पंखाको नीचे बसेर एकदम मजाले आराम गरेर रिल्याक्स गरेर त्यसपछि तपाई चिसो पानी खानु, त्यो त्यसपछि तपाई के भनिन्छ जीवन जग खानु, यो समयमा धेरै उपयोगी हुन्छ।
वेचरको घाममा चाहिँ सबभन्दा पहिले बाहिर निस्किनु हुँदैन। अनि शीतल पदार्थहरु चाहिँ खानेकुरा खानुपर्छ। अन्यथा यदि हिँड्नै पर्ने निस्किनै पर्ने अवस्था भने यो छाता चाहिँ जुन छ नि त्यसलाई चाहिँ लिएर हिँड्नुपर्छ। किनकि लु लाग्ने सम्भावना पनि हुन सक्छ। लु लागेको बेलामा अब गाह्रो हुन्छ। यो पानी यो गर्मीको बेलामा प्रशस्त मात्रामा चाहिँ पानी पनि खानुपर्छ, झोलिलो खानेकुराहरू चाहिँ खानुपर्छ।
अहिलेको मौसमले गर्दा मान्छेले आफ्नो काम गर्न सकिरहेको छैन। 11 देखि 4 त घरदेखि बाहिर निस्किन सकिरहेको छैन। त्यो जो मान्छे घरमा बसिरहेछन् उनीहरूले यसले गर्दा अरू जनजीवन उनीहरूको खराब भइरहेछ। उनीहरू घरदेखि बाहिर निस्किन उनीहरूको शरीरले त्यो पचाउन सकिरहेको छैन।
अलिकति धेरै गर्मी छ कि लु हावा धुलोको कारणले जनजीवन अत्यन्त प्रभावित छ। अब अहिले त्यसैमा यो घरमा बसौँ भने पनि विद्युतको भोल्टेजको कारणले कहिले चाहिँ सर्किट सर्ट हुन्छ, स्टेबलाइजर हुन्छ, तपाईँको बत्ती गइराखेको हुन्छ। त्यस कारणले बत्तीको पनि भोल्टेज तलमाथि गर्न झनै दुःख छ। त्यस कारण आज यो सहरमा त झन् आज यो कालो पत्रेदेखि लिएर उत्पन्न अझै लुले गर्दा जनजीवन अत्यन्त प्रभावित छ। काम गर्न मान्छे हिँड्नै सक्ने अवस्था चाहिँ छैन।
मौसम चेन्ज भइरहेछ, त्यसले गर्दा धेरै जसो बच्चादेखि बुढोसम्म मान्छेलाई अब ज्वरो आउने, टन्सिलहरू, धेरै किसिमको रोगहरू पनि देखिरहेछ। यो नर्मली मौसम चेन्ज हुने बेला हुने। त्यसकारण अब यो गर्मीले गर्दा बाहिर गएर औषधि पानी गर्न, हस्पिटलमा लाइन लाग्न पनि धेरै गाह्रो भइरहेको छ। बाहिर निस्कनु पर्यो, औषधि उपचार गर्नु पर्यो, लाइनमा बस्नु पर्यो। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि जम्मै बाहिर निस्किने हुँदा एकदमै गाह्रो भइरहेको।
काम गर्न त बहुत गाह्रो भएको छ हजुर, किनकि यो तातो हावा कस्तो आउँछ, गर्मी सहनै नसक्ने गरी छ। अब के गर्ने, हाजिरा त बनाउनु पर्यो। हामी त नगरिकन हाम्रो हाजिरा आउन्न। हामी त त्यहाँ गर्मी होस् जेसुकै होस् हामीले गरिराख्छौँ।
And that wraps up our issue of the day. On to the next segment now. Confusion surrounds Nepal's new academic session as schools defy the government's May 4 start, opting to reopen from April 28 instead, breaking from the traditional Nepali New Year calendar. Meanwhile, in a major shift, the National Examination Board NEB says this year's SEE results will be published within a month, targeting mid-May for nearly 500,000 students. More on this in our cover story of the day. Despite the government fixing May 4 as the start of the new academic session, private and community schools across the country have announced they will begin classes from April 28. Earlier, the academic session used to start mid-April. That corresponds to first Baisak of Nepali New Year. Siksha Batrai brings more in this report.
The government has postponed the start of the academic session to May 4, citing the need to revise the academic calendar. However, community schools have criticized the decision, saying it was taken hastily without adequate preparation and is not practically implementable. They further argue that since the authority to manage the academic calendar rests with the local governments, the federal government's decision will have limited impact.
Preparation शिक्षा मन्त्रालयले विभागले चाहिँ जुन परिपत्र गरेको छ त्यो अनुसार त हामीले पहिला पनि गरिरहेको हो, टिचरलाई ओरिएन्टेसन गर्ने, नयाँ सेसन्सको लागि तयारी गर्ने, त्यो सबै कुराहरू हामीले गरि नै रहेको हो। तर अहिलेकोमा थोरै कन्फ्युजन भयो। त्यसमा चाहिँ स्टेक होल्डरहरुसँग अलि व्यापक छलफल नगरिकन यो निर्णय एक्कासी आयो कि भन्ने कुरा तपाईं हामी सबैलाई महसुस भएको कुरा हो। सामुदायिक विद्यालयमा करिब अब केही दिनभित्रमा भर्नलाई सम्पन्न गरेर हामीले चाहिँ क्लासहरु सुरुवात गर्दै छौं। नेपाल सरकारले भने जस्तै 15 देखि 21 गतेको बीचमा हाम्रो क्लासहरु सञ्चालन भइसक्यो।
Private schools, however, say the delayed start will disrupt syllabus completion under the current curriculum and have decided to begin teaching from April 28.
अझ विशेष गरेर शहरी एरियामा, चाहे त्यो जिल्लाको क्यापिटल सिटी होस्, चाहे यो सदरमुकाम काठमाडौँ उपत्यका होस्, कहीं पनि भन्नुस् न, अहिले त धेरै गाउँघरतिरबाट माइग्रेट शहरमुखी भएको अवस्था छ। अनि शहरमा बस्ने मान्छेहरू प्राय न्युक्लियर फ्यामिलीहरू हुन्छ र हस्बेन्ड वाइफले नै काम गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ। अनि बच्चाको सेफ्टीको कुरा हो, त्यो बच्चालाई अब कसले लुक आफ्टर गर्ने। अब अन्यलको वातावरण छैन, किनभने स्थानीय तहको अधिकारमा हुनाले उहाँहरूले निर्णय गर्नु भएको छ। त्यसैलाई आधार र नेपाल सरकारले गरेको निर्णयलाई पनि आधार बनाएर 15 गतेदेखि विद्यालय सञ्चालन हुन्छ।
Parents have also expressed dissatisfaction, saying the delayed academic session has increased insecurity for children of working families.
पहिला स्कुल लेभल नै एकदमै राम्रो बनाएर अनि ईसीडी सेन्टरहरू पर्याप्त मात्रामा खोलेर अथवा फ्री ईसीडी सेन्टरहरू दिएर अनि सबै प्यारेन्ट्सहरूले आफ्नो बच्चाहरूलाई त्यो ठाउँमा राखेर आफू पनि काममा गएर त्यसरी गरेको भए चाहिँ एकदमै राम्रो हुन्थ्यो।
अभिभावक चाहिँ काम गर्ने हुनुहुन्छ, हस्बेन्ड वाइफ नै काम गर्ने हुनुहुन्छ अनि उहाँहरू चाहिँ आफ्नो होम टाउनबाट यता सहर बजारमा शिफ्टेड हुनुहुन्छ भनेदेखि उहाँहरूको लागि चाहिँ एकदम धेरै प्रब्लम छ।
The Ministry of Education, Science and Technology says the session was rescheduled due to adjustments following a 2-day public holiday and insists that starting from May 4 will not create any issues.
विद्यालय सञ्चालनको जो प्रत्येक दिनको अवधि छ त्यो अवधिलाई अलिकति स्ट्रेच गरेर या अलि बढाएर पनि तपाईको एडजस्ट गर्न सकिन्छ या अरु विधिहरुबाट या कार्यक्रमहरुमा पनि तपाईको केही एडजस्टमेन्टहरु गरेर हामी चाहिँ के गर्छौं त भन्दाखेरि हाम्रो पाठ्यक्रमले निर्धारण गरेको टिचिङ आवरलाई कम्प्रोमाइज गर्दैनौं, कार्यक्रमहरुलाई कम्प्रोमाइज गर्दैनौं हैन र त्यसो गरेर चाहिँ हाम्रो पठन पाठनको यो सम्पूर्ण तालिका चाहिँ चाँडै नै यसलाई पाठ्यक्रम विकास केन्द्रबाट प्रकाशन भएर जान्छ।
Despite the government's directive, some schools in certain local levels have already started classes from Baishak 1st. Meanwhile, education experts have criticized the decision, calling it rushed and lacking proper consultation. They warn it may affect curriculum implementation and stress the need for a finalized academic calendar before announcing session dates.
For the first time in Nepal's history, SEE results will be published within a month of exams. The National Examination Board NEB says it is working at war-level speed to ensure nearly 500,000 students get their results by mid-May. Subeksha Razak, along with local correspondent Anjir Singh BK, brings more in our next story.
In a major overhaul of Nepal's examination management, the National Examination Board in Bhaktapur has moved to drastically reduce the waiting period for students and parents. Historically, the transition from exams to results took at least 3 months. However, this year, the board is targeting a historic 30-day turnaround. The SEE exams, which concluded recently after beginning on Chaitra 19th, have transitioned into a round-the-clock processing phase. Controller of Examinations, Tukraj Adhikari, confirmed that the Sanu Thimi-based office has prioritized result publication above all other administrative tasks. In a significant departure from tradition, answer sheets were not collected at a central hub. Instead, evaluation was completed immediately across all 77 districts, with mark slips being dispatched to the Center for High-Speed Digital Processing.
अब यो शिक्षा मन्त्रालयले हामीलाई 1 महिनामा नतिजा प्रकाशन गर्ने भनेर निर्देशन दिइसकेपछि हामीले परीक्षण मोडालिटीलाई विगतको भन्दा परिवर्तन गरेर परीक्षा केन्द्रलाई नै परीक्षण केन्द्र बनाएर त्यही परीक्षण व्यवस्था गर्यौं। हाम्रो साथीहरु बिहान अब निरन्तर कुनै दिन बिदा पनि भनिएको छैन। बिहान 6:30 बजेदेखि बेलुका 6:30 7 बजेसम्म हामी चाहिँ खटिएका छौं। सबै टिम अहिले 40-42 जनाको टिम हामी निरन्तर खटिरहेका छौं यो काममा र हामीले चाहिँ हाम्रो सिस्टममा सफ्टवेयर सिस्टममा इन्ट्री गर्ने काम चाहिँ धमाधम चाहिँ चलिरहेछ। अहिले हाम्रो झन्डै अब 68 लाख चाहिँ अंक चाहिँ इन्ट्री गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ, किनभने हामी ट्याब 1 ट्याब 2 भन्छौं। दुईटा सिस्टममा दुईटा चाहिँ प्याराललली चाहिँ इन्ट्री हुन्छ। त्यो कारणले चाहिँ हामी निकाल्छौं त्यो चाहिँ दिएको समयमा भन्ने हाम्रो कमिटमेन्ट हो र प्रयत्न पनि गरिरहेछौं।
With the futures of nearly 500,000 students on the line, the board has decentralized its evaluation process to meet the ambitious deadline of the final week of Baishak. To maintain academic integrity despite the accelerated pace, the board has implemented a rigorous double verification protocol. Data is entered into 2 independent software systems, which then automatically flag any discrepancies for manual review against the original answer sheets and attendance records. Officials believe this technological intervention will eliminate the recurring issues of mismatched scores and bureaucratic delays that have plagued past results. The initiative marks a significant leap in Nepal's public service efficiency, signaling an end to the culture of procedural delays. At the Examination Control Office in Sanotimi, the lights remain on late into the night as the team enters the final 20% of data processing. The board's determination suggests a new era of efficiency, with SEE results poised to reach students faster than ever before.
And that concludes our cover story of the day. Now the remaining updates. The government has reversed its earlier plan to relocate the Maharajganj-based National Police Academy, allowing it to continue using its existing land. Government spokesperson and Minister for Education, Science and Technology Sushmit Pokhrel said a cabinet meeting held today decided to retain the academy's land use as before. The cabinet has also formed a committee led by a joint secretary of the Ministry of Finance to handle negotiations and prepare documents for a concessional water supply and sewerage management project, including signing a memorandum of understanding.
Integrated water supply and sewerage management sector project का लागि एशियाली विकास बैंकबाट प्राप्त हुने अमेरिकी डलर 115 मिलियन सहुलियतपूर्ण ऋण सहायता सम्बन्धी वित्तीय सम्झौता तथा अन्य सम्बन्धित दस्तावेजलाई अन्तिम रूप दिने विषयमा वार्ता गर्न अर्थ मन्त्रालयको सहसचिवको नेतृत्वमा एउटा वार्ता टोली गठन गर्ने। अर्को नेपाल सरकार मन्त्री परिषदको 2075 भदौ 1 को निर्णय बमोजिम महाराजगञ्ज स्थित राष्ट्रिय प्रहरी प्रशिक्षण प्रतिष्ठानको पुरै जग्गा 114 रोपनी 3 आना राष्ट्रपतिको कार्यालयको नाममा हस्तान्तरण गर्ने गरी भएको निर्णयको सट्टामा सो जग्गा पूर्ववत रूपमा राष्ट्रिय प्रहरी प्रशिक्षण प्रतिष्ठानले नै प्रयोग गर्ने।
A task force formed under the leadership of Asim Shah, political advisor to Prime Minister Balendra Shah, to prepare a discussion paper on constitutional amendments has approved its work plan, incorporating suggestions from all members. According to the approved plan, the task force will begin inviting experts and stakeholders to the Prime Minister's office daily from Monday at 3 p.m. to collect suggestions on constitutional amendment issues. Task Force Coordinator Shah reiterated the commitment to complete the assigned responsibility within the stipulated time frame and submit the discussion paper to the government. He also expressed appreciation for the support from Task Force members and expected continued cooperation in the coming days. Former President of the Federation of Nepalese Chamber of Commerce and Industries FNCCI, Shekhar Golcha, has been arrested. Central Investigation Bureau CIB spokesperson Shivakumar Shrestha informed that Shekhar Golcha was taken into custody from Naxal, Kathmandu on charges of being involved in an offence under the Securities Act 2063. The Bureau took him into custody today after obtaining an arrest warrant from the Kathmandu District Court, Babar Mahal. Golcha was arrested from Naxal and further investigation is underway, informed Nepal Police spokesperson Abhinarayan Kafle. Nepal's Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority CIAA has filed a corruption case worth 14.681 million rupees against Kishori Prasad Yadav, the then acting office chief and engineer of the Drinking Water and Sanitation Division office in Kalayabara. According to spokesperson Suresh Neupane, Yadav is accused of illegally acquiring property and embezzling funds while serving in public office. The investigation covers the period from 25 June 1990, when he entered public service, to 14 January 2024, during which his lawful income, along with that of his immediate family, totaled 34.672 million rupees. However, the Commission found his total expenditure during the same period reached 49.326 million rupees, including spending on land, housing, shares, vehicles, education, loans and bank balances. The anti-graft body has filed a charge sheet at the Kathmandu Special Court also seeking action against his wife Nirmala Kumari under the Prevention of Corruption Act, citing unexplained assets amounting to 14.681 million rupees. Nepal Police's Inspector General Dan Bahadur Karki has said the absence of registered liaison officers of social media platforms in Nepal has made it difficult to resolve cybercrime cases. Briefing a meeting of the Federalism Strengthening and National Concerns Committee under the National Assembly of Nepal, Karki said social media platforms are increasingly being used to create fake accounts, spread abusive content, disseminate misinformation, and carry out digital banking-related crimes.
दर्ता नभएका प्लेटफर्महरू हेर्यो भने फेसबुक, इन्स्टाग्राम, व्हाट्सएप यसको मातृ कम्पनीलाई हामी मेटा भन्छौँ। मेटा प्लेटफर्म चाहिँ नेपालमा दर्ता छैन। डिस्कर्ड भयो, एक्स भयो, स्न्यापच्याट भयो, इमो, विच्याट, रेडिट, युट्युब, जीमेल लगायतका प्लेटफर्मबाट युजर डिटेल र टेक डाउन सम्बन्धमा कुनै पनि रेस्पोन्स आउँदैन। किनभने हामी कहाँ दर्ता छैन, वहाँ लिगल्ली दे आर नट बाइन्डेड टु आवर लिगल सिस्टम। त्यसकारणले हामीलाई त्यहाँ समस्या छ।
Airport parking management across Nepal's airports is facing mounting scrutiny as concession and operational inefficiencies continue to disrupt services. Parking facilities at the major airports like Tribhuvan International Airport in Kathmandu and Pokhara International Regional Airport in Pokhara are struggling to keep pace with rising passenger traffic, resulting in space shortages, traffic bottlenecks and growing complaints over weak regulation. Travelers report delays in securing parking slots, while peak hour pressure has intensified disorder in designated areas. Despite continued revenue collection from parking services, concerns remain over inadequate enforcement, poor infrastructure planning, and limited coordination between operators and relevant authorities. We have more international updates lined up next, but before that, let's have a recap of headlines. Nepal's president adjourns federal parliament session on cabinet's recommendation. Government reverses police academy relocation. Heat wave grips Nepal's Tarai districts. Meteorologists urge caution as extreme heat persists for next 3 days. Academic session start date sparks confusion nationwide. Schools split over government's decision. U.S. seizes Iran-linked oil tanker in Indian Ocean. Trump orders U.S. Navy to destroy boats laying mines in Hormuz. India holds state elections in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. Polls seen as test of PM Modi-led alliance's popularity. And FIFA urges NSC to lift NFA suspension, warns of complications if decision not reversed by May 4 deadline. Pakistan's Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi has held talks with U.S. Chargé d'Affaires to Pakistan Natalie Baker in Islamabad, focusing on diplomatic efforts to advance a second round of U.S.-Iran peace negotiations. According to a statement from the Interior Ministry, the two sides discussed the evolving regional situation and reviewed ongoing diplomatic initiatives aimed at bringing Washington and Tehran back to the negotiating table. The meeting comes as the United States and Iran remain at odds over conditions for renewed talks, despite continued mediation efforts involving regional stakeholders. Naqvi reiterated Pakistan's support for dialogue as the only viable path to de-escalation. U.S. President Donald Trump has not set a deadline for Iran to submit a peace proposal, the White House said, pushing back against reports suggesting a fixed time frame. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters that no firm deadline has been imposed and that the timeline for any response from Tehran would ultimately be determined by the president.
We are completely strangling their economy through this blockade. They're losing $500 million a day. The Karg Island is completely full. They can't move oil in and out. They can't even pay their own people as a result of this economic leverage that President Trump has inflicted over them. So he's satisfied with that as we await their response. And we will see. The president has not set a firm deadline to receive an Iranian proposal, unlike some of the reporting I've seen today. Ultimately, the timeline will be dictated by the commander-in-chief and the president of the United States.
Today marks 40 years since the Chernobyl nuclear disaster in Ukraine, the worst accident in the history of nuclear power. The explosion occurred on the night of April 26, 1986 at Reactor 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near Pripyat, releasing large amounts of radioactive material across Ukraine, Belarus, Russia and parts of Europe. A 30-kilometer exclusion zone was later established and the nearby population was evacuated. 2 workers died immediately in the blast, while 30 more died in the following months from acute radiation exposure. In the aftermath, Units 1, 2 and 3 were temporarily restarted after decontamination, but the plant was gradually shut down over the following years, with the final reactor closed in 2000 under an agreement between Ukraine and the G7. Saffron-robed Buddhist monks have begun a week-long peace walk across Sri Lanka, accompanied by a rescued stray dog, Aloka, that has become a celebrity in its own right. Led by Vietnamese monk Panakara, the group of 13 launched their march at dawn from a historic Buddhist temple in Dambulla, about 160 kilometers north of the capital, Colombo. Villagers and devotees gathered along the route to offer alms and blessings, while many paused to take photos of the gentle dog trotting faithfully beside the monks. The presence of the rescued dog has added a touching dimension to the march, symbolizing kindness towards all living beings and highlighting the importance of caring for animals. Chinese scientists have discovered and identified the 11th new lunar mineral named cerium magnesium changesite, according to the China Geological Survey. The newly discovered cerium magnesium changesite is colorless, transparent and brittle, exhibits a glassy luster and shows a distinct fluorescence effect. The grain size ranges from approximately 3 to 25 micrometers, typically less than 10 micrometers, which is roughly 1/25th of the diameter of a human hair. The cerium magnesium changesite was found in the first lunar meteorite falling in China. It's a single spherical meteorite with a weight of 44 grams and a dark molten shell on its surface. A photo by photojournalist Carol Gussie showing an Ecuadorian family separated by U.S. immigration agents has won the 2025 World Press Photo of the Year award in Amsterdam. Gussie said she hopes the image will shake people out of their complacency. The photograph is part of a wider series taken in a corridor outside a courtroom in New York, where families were often separated after immigration hearings, leading to emotionally charged scenes. The jury selected the image from a larger body of work highlighting the human impact of immigration proceedings. The award recognizes powerful visual storytelling that captures critical social issues. The photograph has drawn international attention for its emotional intensity and stark depiction of family separation during enforcement actions. Business updates coming up next after the short break.
Hackers have infiltrated Sri Lanka's finance ministry system. Sri Lankan Deputy Minister Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernando has revealed that government funds were misappropriated after hackers compromised the email system used for financial transactions between the Australian Export Finance Institution and the General Treasury. He confirmed that a comprehensive joint investigation has been launched by the Criminal Investigation Department and the Sri Lanka Computer Emergency Readiness Team to identify the perpetrators. It was further disclosed that hackers had attempted to execute a further fraudulent scheme involving payments due to India, indicating a broader cyber threat. Dr. Fernando emphasized that the government remains committed to transparency and stressed that strict disciplinary action will be taken against any official found guilty of misconduct, regardless of their rank or position. Business activity in Eurozone contracted in April for the first time in 16 months, driven by rising energy costs and supply chain disruptions linked to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. The downturn reflects mounting pressure on the region's economy as higher energy prices weigh on production and logistics, while continued instability in global supply chains hampers business operations across multiple sectors. It is said that contraction underscores the Eurozone's vulnerability to external shocks, with geopolitical tensions adding fresh strain to an already fragile economic recovery. The slowdown has raised concerns among policymakers about the pace of growth in the coming months, particularly as inflationary pressures remain uneven across member states. Economists warn that prolonged disruptions could dampen business confidence and delay investment decisions, potentially weakening the region's broader recovery trajectory. Japan is seeing a sharp reduction in vending machines as rising living costs reshape consumer spending habits. Beverage company DYDO Group Holdings announced last month that it will remove approximately 20,000 vending machines, about 7% of its nationwide network, by January 2027 as part of efforts to rebuild a more profitable operation. In a similar move, Nagoya-based Poka Sapporo Food and Beverage said in March it plans to sell its 40,000 vending machine business to Osaka-based Life Drink Co. According to Takayuki Ishizaki of Nomura Research Institute, the shift reflects growing consumer preference for retail outlets offering discounted drinks. Netflix on Thursday said its board authorized an additional $25 billion share purchase program on top of a buyback approved in December 2024 with no expiration date. Shares of the streaming giant rose 1.5% in pre-market trading. Netflix had previously said it planned to resume share repurchases while investing about $20 billion this year in films and television, after walking away from a deal to buy Warner Brothers Discovery assets.
Now the sports update. After 200 days at the top, Arsenal has lost the Premier League lead to Manchester City on goal difference following City's 1-0 win over Burnley. This victory puts the reigning champions back on top, with Manchester City and Arsenal now separated by the slimmest of margins. Manchester City under Pep Guardiola has now moved into first place, tied with Arsenal on 70 points. Meanwhile, Arsenal walks into Saturday's Premier League clash with Newcastle United with its margin for error gone, knowing that any stumble at the Emirates could prove fatal to its title hopes. The 6th Asian Beach Games opened on Wednesday evening in China's tropical resort city of Sanya, with the opening ceremony held at the seaside Yasha Park. After being postponed twice, chiefly due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Sanya Games has attracted around 10,000 participants, including more than 1,600 athletes. Scheduled from April 22 to 30, the Games feature 14 sports, 15 disciplines and 62 events. It is the second time China has hosted the Asian Beach Games after the 2012 edition in Haiyang, Shandong province. The flame lighting ceremony featured a distinctive design as 6 torchbearers approached approached from both sides of the ring of sunshine, shaped stage and joined hands to ignite the flame before the stage itself transformed into a cauldron, with the fire rising to illuminate the sea and sky. Now the weather updates, first from Nepal and then across the world. And before we wrap up, let's take a look at the headlines one more time. Nepal's president adjourns federal parliament session on cabinet's recommendation. Government reverses police academy relocation. Heat wave grips Nepal's Tarai districts. Meteorologists urge caution as extreme heat to persist for next 3 days. Academic session start dates sparks confusion nationwide. Schools split over government's decision. US seizes Iran-linked oil tanker in Indian Ocean. Trump orders US Navy to destroy boats laying mines in Hormuz. India holds state elections in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. Polls seen has tested PM Modi-led alliance's popularity. And FIFA urges NSC to lift ANFA suspension, warns of complications if decision not reversed by May 4 deadline. And that's it for this edition of NTV World News Hour. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. This is Smithu Gising Thamang signing off. Thank you for staying with us. Good night.